It's sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. Well, it's time for that tradition that we have here on Fox. The Coach and Coley moments ago.
Thanks, Tim. Coach, last year you guys lost a three-point game to these guys. How much did last year's game motivate your players this week?
Well, I think it gives us a baseline foundation of understanding who they are as a football team. Same with them, with us. So, hey, you got to play, you got to execute, but we're excited to play the game.
You got a true freshman on the other side. How much do you guys have to pressure him tonight?
We got to make him work. He's got a true center in front of him as well, so we got to make him work down the field.
Thanks very much. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks. Go Green.
Think about the idea of passing the likes of a Duffy Daugherty, a true legend and a national championship coach with buildings named for him here in East Lansing, and he would get ahead of him. And how about Herm Edwards? So many eyebrows raised when he took the job. In fact, his agent, Ray Anderson, became the athletic director and brought him in. And boy, has he fit like a glove.
Boy, that intellectual property you're talking about, he kind of become a next level, kind of like a Nick Saban, a coach whisperer, bringing some guys with NFL experience back in. You mentioned Ray a minute ago, had, of course, a long stretch with the NFL as an executive there. And, of course, he's got a lot of talent around him, too.
Christensen Dejas, if that name sounds familiar, it should. Yeah. Will kick it away. Darrell Stewart is back deep. He feels it at his 9. Here he comes. Nice stiff arm, and he's ushered out of bounds at the 27-yard line. And this Michigan State offensive line remains one that's, in movement. You can look again for Kevin Jarvis at that left tackle spot. One thing to be sure, Matt Allen is a consistent center, and that means a lot to this offense that is trying to open it up a bit more this year.
That's the difference and distinction between these two offenses. Of course, Michigan State had a breakout runner last week, and Matt Allen was in no short part responsible for that. That stability, the guy who's going to call out the defenses, is what's going to make the difference for Michigan State here.
There you see the wideouts, White on one side and Stewart on the other, and they go for the corner route, and it's incomplete. Intended for Darrell Stewart. And Brian Lewerke, the senior from Pinnacle High, just 25 miles from the campus in Tempe. You know, this game means a great deal to him, coming off a masterful performance, 314 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick a week ago against Western Michigan.
Well, he's a great asset, to be sure. And again, that's exactly what they've been needing, that breakout back.
Elijah Collins may be that guy, no question about that. Youngster that played basketball was actually recruited while Cassius Winston was a teammate of his at the University of Detroit. Jesuit, as Jermaine Lole makes the stop up front. This is a classic 3-3-5 defense that Danny Gonzalez has. DJ Davidson, he says they're as good as their nose tackle is. He will disrupt things.
DJ Davidson is the guy that's taken over at that nose tackle position, and it is a true what they call zero technique. He's got to control both sides to the left and the right of the guard. If he can't, then you're going to be able to run on this defense.
3rd down and 9. 4 wide receivers out of the shotgun. Lewerke unloads it, finds the tight end. That's Matt Dotson. And it's good for a 1st down right in front of Sterling Coley, number 15, the cornerback.
Coley was back there. It was all man coverage. Again, when it is man coverage, you've got to fend for yourself. Let's see how they handle this quick screen.
Yep, it was quick. Sterling Cole again a little bit late getting over as Darrell Stewart takes the bubble and moves out for positive yardage.
Well, Tim, it's all about recognition. Now, this is a little bit of wrinkle what we're not used to seeing from Michigan State, using pace and tempo as a tactical advantage, getting up to the line of scrimmage, assessing, and then having enough time left over to get them in the right offensive call.
There you see Davidson named to the Nagurski and the Bednarik watch lists. All Pac-12 performer. Here's Collins. They hope to use the running backs out of the backfield a great deal more. And let's get Tillman's takes for this one when Sparty's got the football.
Well, we're kind of seeing it right now, right? Of course, you got to establish Elijah Collins. That's going to be the key. Again, the breakout performance, 192+ last week. Can he duplicate it? And then alternately on defense, how do you stop him from rising up? Well, it comes back to that zero technique in the middle that we just mentioned. DJ Davison, the nose tackle, number 98. He's got to have a big day.
On 1st down, it's Collins again. And he muscles his way out to about a yard gain, and that's it. That's Darren Butler, number 37, outside backer. Started all 13 games a year ago, and his 70 tackles were 4th most by a true freshman nationally. A sophomore of some influence out of Harbor City.
I really like his game. Number 37, he plays at that will linebacker position. That's the weak side. But there tends to be a lot of plays that flows his way. That's what this team likes to do at Michigan State. He should be receiving heady doobie.
Dotson lines up strong left, and they go inside through the A-gap with Collins ahead for a couple of yards. And there's Merlin Robertson, number 8, making the tackle. 12 tackles, 8 solos, and a forced fumble already through the course of this season. And it's 3rd down and 7 coming up.
That's the advantage of really using pace. Now you get a chance to assess what's around you. No hurry. Out with the almost a 4 inverted vertical package look. 1 back, 4 receivers.
Connor Hayward is the lone setback. And they go trips to the top of your screen. Only 45% conversion rate on 3rd down coming in today. Thrown to the back shoulder, incomplete. C.J. Hayes, the intended receiver. Fans wanted a flag. They won't get it.
Chase Lucas is back there covering number 24. I thought that was a little bit of incidental contact may have been there. Hayes was lobbying for it. But again, the ball moves faster than the body and certainly faster than the eye. Sometimes you can't see it. So he got away with one there.
Or it might just have been wonderful technique.
It could have been.
Well, you want to cause a stir in today's college football.
But
try to dissect the difference between offensive and defensive pass interference on any given play.
You got to be a savant to make sense of it today.
You really do. Brandon Ayuk is back deep for the punt. That's Jake Hartbarger that will handle the duties for the Spartans again. And we've got a flag coming in.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, that's not good because Ayuk is the kind of guy that can make you work. Now what you have to do is to make him work to return this ball. You've got to directional kick it, either hard to the left or hard to the right, and make him work for it. Because now you've given 5 additional yards for your coverage unit to go and deal with. Now he's got to be able to respond to that.
Yeah, he's one of the big play guys that they use on bubble screens and the like in their offensive package. Do have a little more room to maybe get this one into the coffin corner, and it lands like a 9-iron, but it just drifts into the end zone. So 51 yards, no return. We will see Arizona State 1st down when we come back.
With AI, we can protect what we
welcome you back to the makeshift offensive line highlighted here. Cole Cabral does move back to center from left tackle, but that means the freshman Ladarius Henderson from Waxahachie, Texas will be indoctrinated facing this incredible defensive front and guys like Raekwon Williams and Panashuk. And the skilled people, keep an eye on number 3, Eno Benjamin, and Brandon Ayuk outside.
Offensive coordinator Rob Like has got to be a bit of a magician to work this line. We'll talk about that shortly.
Jaden Daniels got to get rid of it, decides to tuck it and run. And a nice slide into second, and he's safe. Joe Bacci there to cover him up after a gain of 2. And you see the number on Jaden. I think the big key for him is his poise. That's the first and foremost thing that we hear from both Rob Likens, the offensive coordinator, and his head coach, Herm Edwards.
Well, he's going to get pressure from 48, that left defensive end, Kenny Willikas. The Penasek brothers will be after him. Raekwon Williams, number 99, plays the nose tackle. Pressure can come from anywhere, and that's one of the exciting things about Mike Tressel's defense. He can disguise pressure. The youngsters got to see it and respond.
Quick drop, and they get it out of there fast. That's the idea. Kyle Williams, the recipient, the senior. And a gain of 5 in that Michigan State stalwart defense, best against the rush a season ago, and right there again, -6 yards on the season so far. Bacci and Tyree Thompson and Antoine Simmons, the linebackers at secondary, led by the corner Josh Butler and Josiah Scott. You're talking 4 first-round picks on that defense.
94% of those players we just showed, Timmy, would start for anybody in America. They're that good.
Benjamin remains in the backfield out of the shotgun. And they go with a quick out to Williams. Move the sticks. It's a 1st down out to the 32.
Quality defense by Xavier Henderson from his safety position comes up. But I'm really liking the timing on this throw. The young true freshman doing a fantastic job is Jaden Daniels, getting the ball out. Just a half-field read responsibility. Another output of what Rob Likens, the offensive coordinator, is doing to protect his young quarterback.
Those first 3 plays are absolutely right in sync with what the coaches were telling us they wanted. Underneath, the bat was dropped. Benjamin dropped it. They ruled it an incomplete forward pass, though he was covered up. There was concern perhaps it might have been a juggle or a fumble.
Very uncharacteristic drop by Eno. He's, everybody knows him. He was a breakout runner a year ago, but they've been able to get the ball to him through the throw game. This year he had 72 yards in the receiving department most recently to this point, and he's got to be able to catch that when that was uncontested. Just dropped it.
Yeah, that's the thing they can't afford to have happen. When you're throwing it underneath, Rob Likens talked to us. He had been with Cal, with Sonny Dykes, with Coach Beatty at David Beatty at Kansas. This is an outstanding offensive coordinator. Says we got to go underneath and we got to catch these passes underneath. Well, Jaden decides to take it himself. Wisely stepping out of bounds after a healthy gain. Really got it out to about the 37-yard line before stepping out. That's a gain of 6. That's third and manageable coming up.
Yeah, Steve Williams, the right tackle, is the guy that saved that play and made it work, Timmy. He was working on the outside. Again, you see 71 right there. He steps out. Willikers comes inside and underneath, and look and push him all the way inside and push that trash down so number 5 could get to the corner. That's outstanding work, understanding the athleticism of this young, talented quarterback, able to scramble and extend plays.
It's a Michigan State defense that only gives up 25% conversion rates on third down. So if they could get 2 first downs in this opening sequence, they'd have to be happy. Time winding down, and down he goes off the edge. It's Panashuk, 96 of the brothers Panashuk out of Roselle, New Jersey. He is a junior, 6'3", 270.
Well, the name Jacob means grasping after the heel of your brother. This time it's the opposing quarterback he was grasping after the heel of, and he got him. Just beyond of him, the pressure on the edge. He knew he had a shot at him. Again, pressure coming off the top. He had a wide open receiver, but the pressure from Panashuk on the backside was there too quickly.
Ayuk was there. Just could not identify him. Didn't have time to do so. 5 career sacks for Panashuk. His second this year. And Michael Turk, what a punt. And what a punter he is. And it's returned by Cody White. That young man is averaging 63 yards a boot off of last week's performance against Sacramento State. That one for 51 with a return of 8. Flag is down. Flag is.
Their Bernaise sauce here is the best in town.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you, and by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. As we were going to break, a late flag came in, but it was a post-play foul on both sides, an unsportsmanlike conduct, so they really nullified themselves. So he didn't miss a thing, and we're happy to report that. So Michigan State has the ball at their own 25-yard line. Elijah Collins remains in the backfield for senior quarterback and captain Brian Lewerke. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Coley Harvey, happy to have you. Game 2 of 3 on Fox today. Nice bounce out by Elijah Collins out to the 32. Call it the 33 and a gain of 8. Tyler Wiley, number 23, graduate senior from Scottsdale, now in his 6th year of eligibility.
Tyler came up from that safety position to make that play and feel properly, and if he's not there, Elijah's hitting his head on the goalpost, man.
2nd down and 2. Well, they clocked that one up in a hurry. Elijah Collins stopped behind the line. I'll call it no gain as DJ Davidson, the big run plugger, stepped up to make the play for this defense. A defense that's run by one of the really young and charismatic assistant coaches you'll find. There he is, Danny Gonzalez. He played for Rocky Long, young man at New Mexico. The way he got the job was pretty incredible at Arizona State after the time he had spent.
Love talking defense with him. He's got a great creative mind. We'll see it tonight.
No question. There's Lewerke doing it with his legs, and he's out for the first down. Just shy of the 40 at the 39. Wiley again on the stop.
Wiley is active, playing underneath more, and the Ranger technique is what they call it. Viper technique if you're from Michigan, if you prefer. Wherever they move this guy, you're going to see him around the ball. Oftentimes he will not be blocked for that intent and express purpose to flow to the ball and make open field tackles.
1st and 10, and Collins remains the setback. Cody White to the bottom of your screen and looking
taking a shot
on the streak. Incomplete. Darrell Stewart going along with him step for step was Kobe Williams. They really believe, and Danny Gonzalez said this, he believes in both his corners, both Kobe Williams and Chase Lucas. They lack some height, but he believes their speed will keep them man-to-man all day.
You see how Kobe opened up those hips. He was playing what they call an off technique. But when he found out or discerned that the route was going vertical, he turned and opened those hips. And that speed that you referenced, he showed you right there the ability to recover.
This defense is one that has a lot of old Joe Lee Dunn's methods in it. And Don Matthews, two guys that were influential in Danny's career. Matt Dotson, the intended receiver. That one thrown a little bit behind by Brian Lewerke, and it's 3rd down and 10.
You had a lot of the space there. Usually if that's a wide receiver, maybe there's a little bit more athleticism. As we look at Coach Gonzalez, he's one of the more animated personalities you'll see as a defensive coordinator, and that's for a reason, because defense, you got to play it one way, Tim. It's high motor, high energy, particularly to this 3-3-5 defense that they run. 3 down linemen, 5 defensive backs. They're a nickel most of the time, occasionally dime.
He says they can get into any formation from the 3-3-5. Sometimes it could be a 4-man front. Out pattern is complete to Cody White out of that Z position. 7 catches, 81 yards for him a week ago, and Kobe Williams wraps him up. It's another Spartans first down.
Kobe's out there, but not after a significant gain. So tremendous job of identifying what's happening in front of you, but a big chunk of yards gained on that one.
And it looks like Darren Butler is checking out, Spencer. That could be a big loss for them at that outside linebacker position. And perhaps Coley Harvey can check on him and see what the story is. That means Kyle Soleil is not here, did not make the trip, so they're a little depleted at that spot.
They're short-handed.
They are. They need all hands on deck today. They realize that. Collins Burrows ahead for about 3, maybe 4. We'll call it 2nd and 6 as Merlin Robertson made the tackle. Defensive freshman of the year in the Pac-12.
Tyler Wiley again and company in there, and Johnson 41. All those guys around the ball and active. Again, this defensive scheme demands that they are, because there are only 3 defensive down linemen. Everybody in that box 3 to 5 yards behind them. It's their job to find the runner.
On 2nd down. That's a penalty, no question. Stewart was held Thomas. He was held by Kalen Kurtz-Thomas.
You know, a lot of times he's a redshirt senior, a guy that's been around that long should know better. But again, underneath right here is where he is. You can see him.
Automatic first down.
Got that hand in there and just a little bit too early.
Redshirt senior, as you mentioned, out of Rancho Cucamonga, California. What fun we had talking with Mark D'Antonio yesterday, and his sands in the hourglass, and telling his guys to chase the moment. You got to chase that moment, because time does in fact run out. I love that theme, and he's trying to enjoy every bit of the moment right now.
How about this?
Lewerke cuts it back up, and he gets down to the 4. Oh, the ball's out late.
It was.
I believe that's going to be Arizona State football. Wiley got on top of it.
Tim, I was almost 100% sure Lewerke was going to leave that ball in the pocket of the runner.
I thought it came out.
Ruling on the field is a fumble and a recovery by the defense.
Yes, and it's
first down, Arizona State.
Yeah. Shari Crosswell, 16, stripped it, and Wiley came up with it. You can see he's trying to recover it, Lewerke, but he can't hold on.
Yeah, I'm not questioning anything about whether or not it was a fumble. I'm questioning whether he should have given that ball to the back or not. Again, he had 2 options to that. He could have kept it.
See, the fans,
clearly a fumble.
Yeah, the fans are thinking the knee is down.
They think his left knee is down.
It will be reviewed, but I hate to inform this partisan fan base that was a good call on the field. It will be Arizona State's football. The ball was clearly being stripped prior to the time that left knee went down. Now you got to give these guys credit. Our referee Mark Duddy, and our replay official is Jim Fogeltantz, who recognizes that Dean Blandino was once his boss out in the Pac-12. So Dean, help me out with this one. It looks to me like it's got to be fumble.
Yeah, it's a close call, but it looks like the right call. You're looking for a body part other than a hand or a foot. It looks like that left knee hits first. But I see the ball just starting to come loose before the knee touches the ground. I like this as a fumble.
I do too.
I think Dean hit it. I mean, it looked like a loaf of bread. You see the point of the ball. That's typically not how you carry it. But almost simultaneously, just a bump before the ball starts to squirt out like he doesn't have control of it.
You know, they've really done a great job of protecting the balls, the Spartans. Only one fumble in the last 2 games. But Arizona State has forced 11 fumbles and recovered 4 of them. So, you know, this is part of what Danny Gonzalez preaches with his team. You got to win the turnover end of the ball game, particularly when you go on the road. Wiley was right there. But, Dean, I thought that was a super job by Ashari Crosswell, number 16, of staying with it and ripping it out of there. I mean, it was a bang-bang play, but here's the call.
After review, the ruling on the field of a fumble and a recovery by Arizona State stands. First down, Arizona State.
The technology just hasn't reached the throng of fans here at Spartan Stadium. And no, I won't check Twitter during the timeout. Time now for More Than a House, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, and it's more than no doubt. Opened in 1923, capacity just over 75,000, and a healthy group of Sun Devil fans also.
Oh yeah, they're peppering
in attendance today. Great to see that. Lovely colors of fall here in East Lansing. Well, after the turnover, 1st and 10, and let's see what Arizona State can do with it. They go quick with that bubble screen, and it's incomplete. And with more on the celebration after that turnover, here's Coley Harvey.
Oh man, Tim, I just saw the bench going. I mean, it was just electric a moment ago. Actually, Chase Lucas just came over to Ashari Carswell and just basically dapped him up and said that was a great play. He used an expletive that I'm not going to repeat right now. But the fans with this close bench, you know, the fans are really giving it to him right there too.
Yeah, that
we can imagine.
Yeah. All along, Arizona State said, you know, hang in there, make sure that they're in the game in the 3rd quarter. That's a nice little curl pattern to Frank Darby. He's a bit of a speed merchant. Look at the yards after catch right there.
Nice job, guys. Nice.
I love the umpire in there. That's enough. Knock it off as he goes down.
And Darby just did an excellent job of presenting his numbers, and the youngster just threw a dart inside slant.
Yeah.
And after he caught it, he had to knock it off.
For a minute there, I thought that was Jake Jolivet in my ear.
Knock it off, Tim.
Yeah. I gave you a 10 count. Knock it off. 3rd and 1. Here comes the crowd at Spartan Stadium.
Let's see if they go to 84 again. They got 2 backs in the backfield.
Well, they fake it and then miss the pass right underneath. You know what? It was well set up, too.
Yep, it sure was.
They were looking for, that's Elijah Juarez. And basically, after the play fake, it was right there. And he just missed him. Well, I think there's a little anxiety here early.
Yeah, there is, and I like the play selection. Easy for me to say, right? Selection was outstanding again, but you got to mix it up and convert. After the turnover, you got to be able to put points on the board.
Michael Turk will boot it away. Cody White is back deep. This young man's just been unbelievable. Against Sacramento State, his longest was 58. He can boot it 73 if he needs to. High, end over end, and into the end zone for a touchback. 52 yards. Ryan Lewerke will be right back at you. Dancing in September. Fox College Football is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Well, all the stops are being pulled out. There's Elijah Juarez. He is one of the kids from Long Beach Poly. He's a linebacker. He's never caught a pass, never run the football, but he was the intended receiver right there. He did have 118 receiving yards in high school.
Yeah, that's high school, though, man. That's this next level stuff. And
I think he knew he had his moment in time. He just got overshot by his quarterback. Elijah Collins is in the backfield as Michigan State scrimmages from their 20. Nice move by Collins. Oh, what a move. Oh, that's put your foot in the ground, move and groove, and he did right there.
That's
That is a thing of beauty.
Timmy, that's what you talk about running well in a phone booth, just showing patience inside, again, using his offensive line and then running away from pressure, splitting defenders. And then when you finish that route, look at the vision in his eyes, being able to see what's happening in front of him, wide open hole, he sees it. But I love how he splits the difference between the two would-be defenders to get additional 7 yards.
Collins, a little stutter step, can't get it out. Yeah, the story on him is an impeccable one. He was playing basketball with Cassius Winston, and they were actually recruiting another player, a kid by the name of Scott Nelson.
On the hoops team.
Yeah, they were trying to get. He was looking at another guy, and coach said, "You know, you need to play some football." And boy, he made that move. Just watching him play basketball, D'Antonio saw in him a future football player. And, of course, lo and behold, a few years later, after that freshman campaign with Winston, he made that move. Flags down as he carries it over the right side. And we'll wait for the marker from referee Mark Duddy.
Tim, just to put the exclamation point on Elijah Collins, it was his build, you know, the lower, kind of really strong body build, but the lean upper body that allowed him to be the basketball player that he was.
Offside. Defense number 90 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
Coley Harvey's got more on the young man.
Yeah, well, you know, it was funny. You mentioned that he went back to football. He did play Pop Warner football. Got a little nervous about getting hit. Stayed away from it. Focused on basketball for a while. And then after D'Antonio's visit to that basketball practice, the coaches there at University of Detroit Jesuit had him play football again. And when I asked Coach D'Antonio about that, he said it was divine intervention that he's now here.
Indeed. Little look in to the tight end Dotson again for the first down to midfield. Well, actually mark it into Sun Devil territory at the 48. It's a gain of 8.
That's what you call design intervention there. That's what they like to do, work with their tight ends, get the inside running game working to set it up. And this looks like Michigan State football right here. Love how they're looking to the sidelines to get enough time, not huddling. You're saving anywhere between 8 to 12 seconds by not doing that. Great job. Brad Salem's getting this offense going.
We've seen a little bit of Connor Hayward, but no one else. Collins might be that 25 carry a game back.
Great protection, may get a hold over this.
Could, as the ball is thrown out of bounds. He was outside the tackle box, but yes, markers are down, and it is in an area where you would anticipate holding.
Holding. Offense number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay. First down.
Let's go to Los Angeles now for a game break. Here's Sam Farber.
Number 2, Alabama visiting South Carolina, SEC opener. Tua Tagovailoa, quick pass to Henry Ruggs III, who puts it into third gear, and he is gone. 81-yard touchdown. Since then, South Carolina scored a touchdown. Bama's added a field goal, so it's 17-10, tied leading in the second quarter.
Okay.
And the story in that game, a major headline, the younger Helinski is getting his first ever start. Of course, his brother was a starting quarterback at Washington State. That ball is incomplete. Connor Hayward was the intended receiver. And let's take a look at that hold again.
Timmy, Matthew Allen's going to come back all the way from his center position. He is way back here, and he's getting in a tough spot mainly because of where he came from. He came from a center position, opened up, that athleticism showing, and he gets on the edge against a smaller guy. But a lot of times those small bodies, big guys get a little bit nervous and they want to hold on to him for fear of getting beat. But outstanding athleticism to even ask Matthew Allen at center to step out and get a guy on the edge. That's outstanding.
2nd and 20. Lewerke is now 5 of 10 for 41 yards. Handoff is to Connor Hayward. And he gets ahead for about 3, maybe 4. Evan Fields making a tackle. I don't know about you. I saw that score from Sam Farber. It was 10-10 until that play. I'd say Alabama now is finally matching up against some decent talent on the road in the SEC, and it's a little closer than maybe their fan base anticipated.
Well, it matters who you play, and if there's ever a message, just ask Maryland, Temple, that whole situation, man. You got to respect everybody. Can't be looking ahead.
Yeah, you got to be able to roll with a full cup of success from week to week.
Not everybody does that.
Lewerke with a pump fake, and then that pass incomplete. Fans wanted a little flag to come rolling down on Sterling Cole. Dylan Sterling Cole got his hand in there. Bang, bang play. They're going to say no flag, and it's 4th and 16. Looked like outstanding defense to me.
I thought Cam Phillips was back there. And again, listen, these guys are playing a lot of man technique. So sometimes they know psychologically the pressure's going to be on them. And in today's day and age, where they protect the receivers so much, you're going to get more of those types of calls, and the receivers are going to get the benefit of the doubt more often than not.
Hartbarger will boot it away, and Brandon Ayuk is back deep. Ooh, a nice rush. Almost got to it.
Yep.
Affected, I think, the punt to some extent. It does go out of bounds inside the 20 at around the 15. We've already talked about the Long Beach Poly connection with a linebacker being an intended receiver. Here's Coley Harvey with more on that.
Yeah, well, there's 7 players from Long Beach Poly who are on this Arizona State roster, and the Sun Devils can really only thank their linebackers coach for that, Antonio Pierce. Of course, Pierce, that's a name that a lot of people will recognize. He played in the NFL for 9 seasons, won a Super Bowl with the Giants. Well, when I asked Danny Gonzalez, the DC, about having Pierce on his staff, he mentioned that name helps. The Super Bowl ring helps to go in homes, but also the fact that he's familiar with a lot of what some of the recruits that they're going after, what they're going through in their lives.
Arizona State with only 1 first down. You added Marvin Lewis now as a special advisor to Herm Edwards. I think they're going to be a recruiting juggernaut in a short amount of time there in the desert. Ayuk gets the head out to about the 19-yard line. Young men today really respond to those people they know and understand have had great careers at the next level. And, of course, Marvin did for so many years in Cincinnati. And, and the head coach, Herm Edwards, we're talking about the modern-day Dick Vermeil. We're talking about a guy that spent a lot of time away from the business, now has a perspective about things, and sees himself as a CEO and delegator, letting his coaches coach.
There are a lot of smart coaches out there that are doing the same thing. You got one over at Arizona. Brought in a guy with the surname of Murray. You'll know the name, the former running back. Same situation for Kevin Sumlin.
2nd and 5 in trouble. Boy, look at that masterful negotiation by Daniels just to get it back where he did to about the 19-yard line. That's Tyreek Thompson, 17, will finally be credited with the stop. Loss of a yard.
Tyreek actually blew up the last play, too, man. He's been active.
Ooh. Jacob Panashuk is down 96 behind the play, down around the 10-yard line.
He was working on Ladarius Henderson, who's starting at that left tackle position, a nice hand slap away. Just great physical skill, but he slips down, and it looks like a lower leg injury. Doesn't look like Henderson hit him very hard. Just like he turned that corner. It's tough, man, to go the opposite direction when you're leaning that hard and trying to turn a corner like that with a big guy that weighs 291 pounds bearing down on you, as does Ladarius Henderson.
Well, he's jogging around, so looks to be in pretty good shape.
So there's Henderson there.
Yeah, he did just slip.
Yeah, he just slipped around him.
So 3rd down and 6 coming up. We haven't seen really much down the field. We've seen slip screens, quick curls, no crossing patterns either. They've averaged 2.6 yards per play.
Well, we've talked about the quick game has to be a part of. Listen, that's just pure respect for this rush defense, no matter where it's coming from. You talk smartly about the eclectic defense that this Arizona State team has. Well, listen, because you can bring pressure from so many different people, Michigan State has a similar philosophy.
I think they're really happy about moving to the other end.
That's the end of the first quarter.
They got a few Arizona State fans down at this end. So they'll gladly allow those 23 ticks to close out this quarter. We played one. Nada, senor. Fox College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. Now, they were honoring some of the former Spartans that were on hand during that timeout at the end of the quarter. You see the numbers in the first quarter. Arizona State with 11 plays. They're averaging 2.3 yards per play, but they're hanging in there with only the 1 first down. So Danny Gonzalez's defense has gotten a turnover, and they've managed to maintain some semblance of field position. The Michigan State defense was -6 in rushing yardage given coming in.
But it's more shades, more shades of Tulsa, though, this offense of Michigan State not able to generate points, much like they could against the Golden Hurricane.
Indeed. Time for Daniels. That pass tipped into the air. It was actually blocked, and the late flag comes down. Ayuk, the intended receiver. That ball was hammered back the other way by Josh Butler, number 19. And maybe a late hit violation.
Foul, roughing the passer.
Yep.
Defense number 96. He hits the quarterback at the knees. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Flag came late, and it's Panashuk that is tagged.
Yeah, Panashuk's working hard. Again, Willikers is on the opposite side. He's right here. And again, it's just a tough call, but the bottom line is they caught him, got him down around the leg area. The officials are going to protect the quarterback in that situation.
It's a point of emphasis. And by the way, we'd like to welcome the audience that has joined us from the battle for the Cyhawk Trophy between Iowa and Iowa State. They've got inclement weather at Jack Trice Stadium with Ryan Custer and Robert Smith, and we're happy to have you with us here on FS1 as well, as that's a healthy pickup. Best of the day in the air. This one to Kyle Williams, the wide receiver.
Yeah, they're
asking
Xavier Henderson to come all the way from his strong safety position inside out to make that play. Man, that's a long haul for him to come to make a play from the inside for number 3. He got there eventually, but usually a guy's playing strong safety tends to be a little bit bulkier. Maybe not the best fit for a slot guy or a wide receiver, to be sure.
So the ball at the 46. That's the largest gain from scrimmage for Arizona State today. Just underway second quarter here.
Good job.
Oh, beautiful. Out to Kyle Williams, who was out there as a safety valve. Got him in the flat. Had a wheel route look to it, didn't it?
It did have it, but it's kind of like a speed option where a guy comes across and he bounces out. He's going to come across the formation here, and that action, getting him in advance, puts him in a position where he can make a defender miss more effectively because he's already got ahead of speed up, and he's running fast at it.
Sort of a mini version of a wheel route.
Yep.
Second down and 2. Benjamin, the setback. Williams is in at wide receiver again, number 10, targeted a moment ago. Well, there's just nothing between the tackles. You just cannot go there. Kyle Williams.
Raekwon, Jacob Panashuk, all of those guys, Mike at the defensive tackle position, just absolutely nowhere to go. Trying to run a little inside power play. You're not going to move that defensive front. They're number 1 against the run for a reason.
Almost with the penetration, they are there almost at the time you get the football.
Yep.
So now suddenly it's third down and 5.
You know, but in their defense, Arizona State knows the fact you've got to at least make them aware of the fact that you will attempt to run it inside to keep them honest.
They go empty, 5 wides.
Oh, look at the cluster formation. Somebody ought to be open on this.
On a streak incomplete for Ayuk. I thought they might be looking underneath on a crossing route there, but Daniels chose to go with the streaking Ayuk up at the top.
Well, Josh Butler was the field corner, and that means he's the wide guy. And Ayuk really, he got him turned around. Butler actually was beat on that play for just a brief moment. He got turned inside out, and being man coverage, there is no help behind you, to be sure.
That's Antonio there talking with Ayuk. Constant teaching going on. Cody White is in safety, awaiting the punt from Michael Turk. In his very first game, he averaged an incredible 63 yards per punt. Fair catch is called for by White at the 12. Fox College Football is presented by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. And is sponsored by Wendy's, proud partner of the NCAA. College football is back, and so are spicy nuggets. Well, think about the great coaches at Michigan State. Charlie Bachman, Duffy Daugherty with his 109 wins and transformed the game itself. And Mark D'Antonio now with 109 wins. And I thought it was interesting, Spencer, when I asked him about the potential of enjoying it a little bit more this time, he said, no, there won't be any exhale. Okay, we're not going to do that. But he does admit to pausing for reflection this week, which I thought was very interesting.
And he also said he committed the season to fun.
Yeah, nice crossing pattern to Seibert. Big Matt Seibert.
A thing I like about this play is Lewerke's eyes. I think they actually came backside, then they came to the front side where you saw a streaking tight end making his way inside for an open play. Outstanding pitch and catch by Lewerke.
That's 48 yards, a first down. Crosswell was able to run him down. Now Lewerke rolling and throwing, and it's incomplete. Well, the first 11 passes now. He had 41 yards, and they got one 48-yarder in one play.
They got Elijah Collins out there helping him, but this is the previous play here. Nice job inside slant by the big fella. Presents his numbers. He's off to the races now.
Transferred from Buffalo, the young man. He's outstanding talent right here.
Don Treadwell does an outstanding job with those receivers.
On 2nd and 10. Right up the middle with Elijah Collins again. And he turns what looked to be a 3 or 4 yard gain into about 5 or 6. That's Darren Butler. We're happy to report back into the game. He had left briefly earlier. Pickup of 7. Got a little face mask here.
A little extracurricular going on there. A couple of face masks.
That's Cam Phillips. By the way, I should mention that he got caught with a dueling number a moment ago. Backup quarterback Dylan Sterling Cole. We have those dueling numbers from time to time at the college level. Cam Phillips, though, the redshirt freshman, outstanding big-time hitter at free safety. 3rd down and 3. Pump fake, and Lewerke takes off. That's very close. I think he might be a little short. DJ Davidson, I think they're going to give him the necessary yardage.
Well,
wait a minute. Let's see. No, it's short.
Credit Danny Gonzalez's guys, though, for sorting out which a bunt formation can be very, very frustrating to figure out if you're on the back end, especially if it's man coverage.
Here comes Rocky Lombardi on a 4th down and less than a yard.
A little option game, maybe?
The ruling on the field was the quarterback began his slide. He was down and short of the line to gain. The previous play is now under replay review.
And the minute he begins to slide, he's giving his body up at that point. I don't know if it's a slide. His body is first.
It's a head-first slide.
It's a head-first slide, but typically we're looking at their feet. But I don't know if you can say you're giving yourself up if you're head first. You know?
Yeah.
It's tough.
He's looking right at the chains, too, across the way. He felt he had it before he hit the deck. And it should be where the ball is. Remember, the only way you slide technically would be with your feet first.
Yep.
But watch where the ball is as his knee hits the ground. That's the key. Well, there may be something to it. His elbow is past the point, really.
His left elbow is down, but
I thought he had a right foot mark, and then the line judge came up and moved it back to behind the line of scrimmage. It's very rare that we see a change in where the ball is lined up scrimmage-wise.
After the review, the ruling on the field of the quarterback being short of the line of gain stands.
Yep.
4th down.
Yeah. It's not surprising. It's very rare you're going to see that ever changed. But we have seen it on occasion.
Oh, yeah.
So it is 4th down. I'll be curious to see if Lombardi comes back out. Now, they have quarterback runs for him. Lewerke, it appears, is coming back out. So Lombardi will remain on the field, on the sidelines.
I think the more compelling thing in this series is Brad Salem's play selection. He has really painted the field from left to right, stayed true. He's got a 2-tandem double tight end look now. Power to the right.
And he got it. Well, that's just the 2nd time Michigan State's been successful on 4th down conversions this year. They're 2 for 5.
At least they're moving it and they're staying true to who they are. I mean, we were on the Big Ten show earlier today, Tim, and we were talking about the character of this team. Yeah, they have the potential to open their offense. They're in a 2-tandem look right now, which is unconventional. Tough to sort this out. Let's see if Arizona State can. Definitely a pass-first formation.
Out of the shotgun, Lewerke hammered behind the line. Yep. Great penetration from Tyler Johnson, number 41. Redshirt sophomore out of Highland Community College. Hometown Gilbert, Arizona. That's a loss of 4.
Well, again, 41, Johnson's coming down. He understands how to read the option play. Great discipline. Doesn't totally gives himself up, but he knows one thing. He's got help on the outside shoulder. That makes the difference. You can play a little bit more aggressively when you've got a battery mate that has containment as his primary responsibility.
2nd and 14 from the 31 of Arizona State. Hayward tries to spin out of trouble but can't. Jermaine Lole, number 90, with the tackle. Another one of those Poly kids from Long Beach.
He's a big one too, and he wears number 90 like you said, but to watch him pirouette the way that he did down there to get inside, he's usually the left end. He reduced all the way down inside and did a fantastic job of making a play in that A gap. Well, he just stunts all the way down inside. Excellent job.
Another big sequence for this young Arizona State defense. They've been salty today. They've yielded yardage, but have been tough on 3rd down. Only 3 of 6 conversions for the Spartans. And it's 3rd and long here. They move Cody White.
Well, this he's got him wide open unless he communicates this. Good Lord.
Flags down. And on the slant, incomplete. Dropped by Matt Dotson. And he had plenty of green in front of him. But the flag came down wide of the field at the 30-yard line.
Well, the problem was Arizona State couldn't sort out what Michigan State was doing, and Kobe Williams so late getting out there to cover the wide open receiver.
Illegal motion, offense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is an incomplete pass. 4th down.
I think that may have been a result of trying to get Cody White lined up late.
Exactly what happened, because in doing what they did, it violated a tenet of defense, and Kobe Williams didn't know what the heck was going on. As it turns out, it was a bad formation. It was illegal. That's why it was wrong.
Matt Coughlin, who's 7 for 7 on field goals, 47 yards his longest. He's 40 for 48 in his career, and is going to line this one up from 47 yards. Oh, he pushed it. Never a chance.
Wow.
A big win for Arizona State. And if Coley thought he saw a party after the turnover, he's seeing a coronation now. Before NFL games, Fox College Football is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today. Dueling cards, like dueling numbers.
You're so good. You pivot, man.
Well, you got to do that.
All about the pivot.
Sometimes you got to just admit it and move on. Let the percussion section carry you through. You know, Benjamin is in the backfield for Arizona State. Let's see if Jaden Daniels now gets to maybe get in more rhythm now that he's completed a ball of more than, say, 12 to 15 yards in the air.
This game, the longer it goes on in this condition, reminds me of Tulsa. They've shut down the run game for the most part for Arizona State, but no points.
Little bubble screen again up at the top, and it's to Ayuk. Only ahead for 3. That's like a run, really.
Yeah, it is.
By the way, Rob Likens made no bones about it. We're not going to try to be, running any power. Okay, forget it. We're going to throw the football today.
There's Rob. He told us that. And the thing I like about it, a lot of coaches will say that, but they get mired in their own stuff. With Likens, he comes from an eclectic background. He knows a little bit about the option game. Certainly in that Mike Leach tree, he knows about the air raid. But when you have to run the ball, he certainly can do it as well.
2nd and 8.
A little pressure on the edge. Great dial-up play.
Simmons was coming. And the perfect play against it, really.
Yeah, Antoine Simmons.
Pierce, on the receiving end, number 85. His first catch of the day.
Antoine Simmons was coming off the edge. Again, some of that pressure look from that star position. And he's gifted in talent, to be sure. But if you know that play is coming and he's blitzing, there's going to be somebody open.
From the 37-yard line, some mass substitutions with the play clock still in pretty good shape. 14 seconds and counting. Tommy Hudson, number 87, has come in. Daniels is out of the game.
Yeah, Arizona State having a problem getting their personnel.
Timeout, Arizona State, their first of the half. This will be a full timeout.
So Ethan Long will have to wait for his opportunity. After the timeout, you could see that frustration a moment ago, Spencer.
It's palpable. You can see Eno Benjamin back there trying to get guys to understand. If you can't get lined up, you can't run effective play. If you're Rob Likens, the offensive coordinator, you may have the great play dialed up, but if your guys can't get lined up, it's useless.
Elijah Juarez is checked back into the game, too, as we mentioned, the linebacker. There's Long, a.k.a. Captain America. They wanted to run the Sparky formation with him. And there's some motion from Tommy Hudson. Well, again, they go off that tackle. Off tackle, that may be good for the first down. I think it is. That's the first real power play that we've seen. It's been effective at all in a down and distance situation.
Well, it's a power pistol. And again, to get the back line up directly behind Daniels, the quarterback. And again, the big heavy guy goes inside searching for somebody. All you need is to lean forward and get a yard. Excellent play selection, knowing what you need, getting heavy, knocking Bocce and company out of there to get the first down.
Well, what this does, if they can just maintain the football for a while, give its defense a rest, they've done their job so far. Shorten the game in terms of possessions. Benjamin the setback. Just the 4th first down for Arizona State. Beautiful pass, and Ayuk has got it for a first down and then some into Michigan State territory. At the 44-yard line, David Dowell, number 6.
Yeah, Rob Likens is seeing something he likes with Antoine Simmons over here. Again, you see the off coverage. Again, the nice little pivot route. They're playing a deep zone concept. So far off the ball, and you may want to respect the speed of Ayuk, but you've got to understand when that ball is turned out with a 12 to 10-yard cushion, you better be driving on that ball to be in a viable position to defend the pass.
Longest play from scrimmage that was, 15 yards for the Sun Devils. Play fake, and again another out pattern. It's right there. It's Kyle Williams. It's a first down. Arizona State at the 30 of Michigan State. Xavier Henderson, number 3, with the tackle. Back-to-back plays for 15, Spencer, and you're right, they found their spot, haven't they?
Well, they're painting the edges, and that's what the difference is. Again, they got the inside guys running and chasing, trying to make plays. Bocce's inside. You got Xavier Hernandez at the strong safety position, but none of them are able to get to the perimeter where the ball is being thrown on this series.
Yeah, Henderson was playing catch-up that time, no question about it. On 1st and 10, look at that. Quick steps, beautiful steps by Benjamin. It's a first down, 16 yards. So they've gotten 46 yards in the last 3 plays. That's more than they had in the entire first quarter.
Well, here's the difference. Bocce's getting driven out in the middle of this defense. And again, you have stressed the outside. Now you start getting those linebackers aware of what's happening on the perimeter, softens up the inside. Now you can get a couple of plays or two against a nose tackle that's only clear on either side. There's no one opposite of him. There it is.
Daniels. Well, that was a quick reaction, wasn't it? To show you how the pursuit of Antoine Simmons can be so devastating.
Yeah, Simmons got there. Bocce eluded a guy as well. So what looked like a gaping hole closed extremely quick. Simmons came from that star position, and Bocce made one guy miss in open space. Both of them converged to prevent what could have been a nice sizable game.
First quarter, they had 23 yards, this Arizona State team. And now in 3 plays, 46 yards on this drive. A.J. Carter is checked in, 25. Kyle Williams, number 10. He goes in motion. And it's Carter. Fresh legs. And he gets it down to about the 10. Gain of 6.
Penalty on the play.
Yeah, and there is a marker down. It's in the state secondary, in the Michigan State secondary, down around the 2 or 3 yard line. Well, we'll check the flag. Looks like Arizona State may be backing up.
The result of the play is a 3rd down. After the play, personal foul, offense, number 10. 15-yard penalty, it'll be 3rd down.
Wow. Kyle Williams, after the play, let's see from the right-hand side what happened. He and Josiah Scott.
There's a lot of bodies out there on top of him. He had a helmet, maybe to the head late.
Yep. After the whistle had blown the play dead, according to Mark Duddy, our referee. So now suddenly it's 3rd and 21.
Now this is a 7-play drive so far, the longest of the afternoon. Now got Michigan State on their heels a little bit, threatening.
Well, that was really a tight call, don't you think?
Yeah, it was.
To back them up that far. Wow. 3rd and 21. Daniels keeps it. Looks like they're just lining up for the field goal to give the right opportunity to Christian Zendejas, who's been money. He doesn't have great distance, but he does have marvelous consistency. Their outstanding long kicker, Brandon Rees, has been out. He's missed first couple of games, lower leg injury, and still unable to go. But Zendejas, from the Zendejas family, father Luis in the early 80s and Uncle Alan. 4 Zendejas has kicked in the NFL.
Played with his brother, Uncle Tony Zendejas at Houston back in the day.
This will be from 41 yards. Right down the middle. Just the way Bing Crosby sang it back in the day. Zendejas, synonymous with kicking, gives Arizona State the 3-point lead.
Yeah, great presentation.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, massively impressive outing from Ohio State. Tight one between Pitt and Penn State. And what happened with Maryland?
I think they started to believe their own hype and overlooked Temple today.
Never believe your own hype, Tim Brando. You taught me that.
You learned well. That's Rob Likens talking with his quarterback. And, you know, obviously he wanted more out of that drive, and he understands that. But you got to be patient with these kids. He knows that as well.
Yeah, but I will tell you, I don't think that frustration necessarily was directed toward his quarterback.
No.
It was the opportunity that he had. Sometimes when you're looking at that shot, maybe you get the impression that he was directing that attention toward his quarterback. It was really the missed opportunity.
I agree. Earl Stewart. Oh, he fumbled it. Out on top of it. Antoine Simmons is on top of it from the 24-yard line. Well, the Michigan State Spartans, as you mentioned, looking very similar to the team we saw against Tulsa opening week, and not at all seeing any carryover from that outstanding performance against Western Michigan.
Well, this is Herm Edwards, you know, NFL one-on-one, small ball. This is the way he's winning it. Ball control, that's the way he won last year in this contest. A little bit different situation. And remember, Michigan State was dealing with the time issue, playing essentially what would have been a midnight game for them in the heat of Arizona. Seemed like none of that obviously is a factor today, but they're still in it.
There's that quick slant complete to Stewart. He really is the guy, don't you think?
No question.
That can break out. He had 11 catches for a big yardage. He had 185 and a touchdown. This is a kid that could go a long way in helping this team offensively here in the first half.
He's got a big body. He's got concentration. He's got balance. He's got a sense of direction, and he's got courage. That's the thing you're looking for in a wide receiver.
Lewerke goes to the tight end this time towards the boundary. Matt Dotson on the receiving end.
Kobe Williams there to close on him. Makes a great play on the stop on the perimeter. You know, again, it's a reoccurring thing we talk about a lot, but Williams has got great speed, and you're looking for the proximity of the ball. That is the relative distance of the player to the guy who has the ball. And if he's right in his hip pocket, you know that's a great defender right there. And he is one of the best. And you look at this back end for Arizona State, and you would expect a back end that's coached in part by Herman Edwards to reflect the character of your head coach. And Coach Gonzalez has that in this back unit.
Second down and 7. Collins. The best plays they've had today have come from number 24. Gets it out beyond the 45, a gain of 8. Cam Phillips, number 15.
Yeah, Cam had to come from depth, though, on that one, man. That was a long way to go. When you got Cam Phillips making a tackle on you, you've gained at least 8 yards already because he's coming from that deep safety. Got the fullback in there working to clear the path. Cam makes a decent tackle, has help from his friends, but not until a sizable gain in the first down.
Clear Lake High School, Houston, Texas.
Yep, down by NASA Road 1.
Elijah Collins, nothing doing this time. Maybe a yard, and that's it. Clock down to about the 2-minute mark here in the opening half, and a timeout, it appears.
Timeout.
3-0 Arizona State lead.
Welcome to the Hall of Allergies. Today we take a stroll down memory lane to see how these other OTC medicines compare to Zysol, the latest in 24-hour allergy relief. You see, Zysol lasts up to 6 times longer than Benadryl, works faster than Claritin, and on first dose provides the same relief as Zyrtec at nearly half the size. So for the latest and powerful relief that's just as effective at hour 24 as at hour 1, be wise all. Take Zysol.
Sir, please don't touch the exhibit.
3-0 with 2:03 to play. Second down and long coming up. Ladarius Jefferson into the game. Sophomore from Columbia. Dotson's been a favorite target. This time it's Cody White. That pass was a little high, but he reeled it in. Darren Butler right there with him.
Number 37, Darren Butler, the will linebacker. And once again, folks, it's the proximity to the ball, or in this particular case, the receiver, that makes all the difference in the world. It's almost like a litmus test. If you want to know how aggressive a defense it is, look at the relative time it takes after the catch to be tackled.
3rd down and 5. Lewerke with a pump fake. Now running out of time. Now heaves it. Finds Stewart. Look out. Evan Fields with a saving tackle. 36 yards. That's what we were talking about. Stewart seems to be the breakout receiver.
So this is just Lewerke extending the play, avoiding pressure, and running to extend the play, not to create something himself. Put the ball in the hands of Darrell Stewart at the X position and let him do his thing.
3 catches for 55 yards. This time, C.J. Hayes takes it. And here again, that previous pass and the way Stewart was able to move afterwards.
Yeah, it's a great body control. Again, understanding he's got a blocker to help him downfield. He turns his attention inside. Got the nice little stiff arm just for extra benefit there to get an additional 5 yards out of the play.
Oh, boy. Kevin Jarvis is down. Now, this is the young man that had moved to left tackle. All of these problems started first with Cole Chewins going down.
Yep.
We can also tell you that A.J. Arcuri, 76, is out for today's game. He's nicked up. So Michigan State's offensive line has already been gerrymandered to a great extent, and now you could possibly be looking at a real depth problem. Blake Buter can go to a lot of different places. We've even seen him some at center.
There you can see him. He's on the line. He gets rolled up.
Yeah.
You know, he's engaged in a blocker, and when that ankle gets rolled up and you've got a defender pushing you backwards, the physics on that one doesn't work in your favor, man. That's a tough one. But it looks like he's going to bounce up and be okay.
He's moving slowly.
Yep.
They're going to need him to be good to go in the second half because, as I mentioned, they're just running out of bodies back there. No Arcuri, who could play 2 or 3 different spots. Certainly they feel that way about Jarvis, who had moved from right guard to left tackle with the loss of Chewins. And Buter is sort of the swing guy, 66. And you'll see some of him. Tyler Higbee also up front.
So you got 3 receivers down here now, and straight man on the back end. Let's see if there's a 4th defender. They're going to play this 2 levels. So this looks like man coverage. You get a possible blitzer coming off this side.
And on 2nd and 8, Lewerke will do it himself. And he's down to about the 7. Merlin Robertson, number 8, making the stop.
Lewerke did an excellent job of running away the unaccounted for defender would have come from. No blitz, but the numbers didn't work in his favor to the left, so he took it the opposite direction. It's a great heads-up call by veteran quarterback.
Ladarius Jefferson remains the setback. Stewart is in the slot to the bottom of your screen. Inside, and Hayes couldn't get it. Pass was low, maybe a little behind him. And you saw Darren Butler right there, number 37 in coverage.
Butler was in great position, playing the will position. You know, sometimes it puts stress on the guy. Remember, that's a linebacker right there. And a lot of times you're asking him to cover smaller body guys. He's settling on the end line, understanding where he is. He can't allow that receiver to get behind him. He knows it's going to be a score if he does.
I don't mind Brian. Brian did not want to put that ball in a place where 37 had a chance at getting it either.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best thing a quarterback can do is put it on the back shoulder so he can spin and turn to the open space.
Coughlin, he missed his first field goal moments ago. He'll try again from 26 yards, and we've got a flag. Looks like too much time. Boy, that's...
Before the ball was snapped, delay of game,
wow.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Yeah, that's inexcusable. That's one that is hard for Coach D'Antonio to live with.
Well, he gave his team a pep talk after the nondescript performance against Tulsa. They may be in line for another one of those coming up. They responded with 50+.
Yeah, you know, I thought Herm Edwards made the point to us yesterday. He said, the thing I notice about the college game is teams look one way one week and completely another way the next. And an observation from a man coming from the pro game and from television, too. He's accurate.
I think the thing is he gave a lot of reasons why that is the case, too. And that's what was eliminating.
31 yards this time. And guess what?
Wow.
No good. And you know what, Spencer? I'm not sure that even if it had been from 26, It would have been, but I'll tell you this, those 5 yards might have mattered. It might have mattered.
If it, the inside game or the inner game cannot.
It'll be Arizona State's ball, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Snap was a little, juggled a little bit. So the snap was low, and now 2 misses consecutively. 40 of 48 in his career coming in, and now 2 misses. I think the trouble started with the penalty. Yeah. But after looking at it on replay, I think he would have missed it from 26 too.
Well, if there's ever a position where the inner game cannot not be played, it's at the kicker. So you're 0 for 2 in a game that looks like it's going to be a close one so far anyway. If the balance of it plays out this way, he got to get his mind right.
Remember, this Arizona State team did not have a lead last year until the game ended.
Wow.
It came from 13 down to win.
Small ball.
Yep. And that contingent from the desert from Tempe is happy. And a few boo birds being heard here at home for Michigan State.
That's because their team is parched for points.
Yep. Well, coming up on the State Farm halftime show with Rob Stone, Matt Leinart, and Urban Meyer, you're going to hear about what has been an incredible day where teams just seemingly cannot handle a full cup of success. Rob Stone, how do you do?
Quite well, my friend. Love to hear you, Tim, Spencer.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Volkswagen. Drive something bigger than yourself. At halftime, 3-0 Arizona State. And Spencer Tillman, Michigan State fans may not like hearing this, but the uglier the game is, the better it is for Arizona State. And so far, while they haven't lit the world on fire offensively, they've stayed clean, and that's the reason they have a 3-point lead.
And we said at the top of the show, it's about the quick game, and that's exactly what allowed this young freshman, true freshman quarterback, Jaden Daniels, to fire for 71%, Tim. They did it the old-fashioned way. Look at the game plan. Don't play into the rush-heavy defense that's #1 in the nation. Let this guy go 10 of 14. 82 yards doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you got a kicker that can do it from 41 yards out on that 10-play drive, that's all you need, brother.
Yeah, look at that. From 6 to 10 yards, he's 4 for 4. Going underneath, dinking and dunking was the idea going in for Rob Likens, the offensive coordinator. And right there in that one drive, 3 plays where he got 46 yards, I thought they really had an unfortunate penalty called against them to stymie the drive. But Zendejas kicked through the field goal, and of course Coughlin missed 2. And the 2 that were very makeable field goals.
Great observation. And the crazy thing about it is you look at the anatomy of this game so far, Michigan State leads in the time of possession by 16:02. In this day and age, that typically doesn't mean a lot, but when you consider how Herm Edwards wants to win games, it makes a difference.
Coley Harvey talked to both coaches at halftime.
Yeah, well, speaking with Mark D'Antonio, before I could even ask a question, he said missed opportunities. He was also lamenting the fact that his team couldn't make a field goal there in the first half. When I asked him about getting Elijah Collins going, he said, hey, we've got to get everything going. As for the Sun Devils, Herm Edwards said that he was so happy with his offensive line, that patchwork job. He said a marvelous job the way that those players are protected up front. And, of course, he says, hey, we're an NFL type of mentality, and they're bringing that for sure to this game, to that first half.
That means Cole Cabral now at center, what had been at left tackle, and particularly Ladarius Henderson, 77, have held up. That pass incomplete. Kyle Williams, the intended receiver, on first down.
Sparty a little lucky on that one. I thought there was a little bit of contact extra there by Antoine Simmons. It might have been bang, bang, but boy, it looked like he was in there quick on Williams.
Boy, I feel badly for our colleagues at Ames, Iowa. For the second consecutive week, poor Brian Custer and Robert Smith dealing with inclement weather and delays. Another delay, so we welcome that audience from FS1 to that the magnificent setting that we have for you here in East Lansing on Fox. Will Benjamin in the backfield, 2nd and 10, just underway second half. And they go outside to Benjamin. His safety valve towards the boundary, and he gets out for a healthy gain. Xavier Henderson, number 3, making the stop. And so it'll be 3rd down and 5 coming up.
And that's a winning play, though. Again, I know that they got essentially nothing on that first down opportunity, but that's a winning play. The key is they're continuing the theme of their success from the first half, getting the ball out quick. Whether it's a swing pass, quick bubble screen, that's the winning narrative they've got to continue.
And the other thing, too, Spencer, because they've been so quick, they've really nullified
the rush.
Raekwon Williams.
No question.
They've nullified Willikis. They've nullified Bacci. You know, Bacci is such a big-time player, but this is as long as you're going to see the quarterback hang on to it, and finally he goes down. As if on cue, it's Raekwon Williams and Antoine Simmons that collaborate and will force a punt formation. That's one of the rare opportunities either one of them have had at making a sack.
96 was in there as well. The rush was one of integrity. Everybody's responsible for the lanes. Everybody came in there. Penasuk actually folded back and got involved in it as well. And Simmons and company, Henderson along with them, ready to celebrate now. So they've held. Let's see if they can put them back together.
Yeah, Jacob Penasuk, besides being injured, he's probably been the most active of that defensive front. Been involved in more tackles than any of the other future first-rounders they have out there. Michael Turk will boot it away. Boy, it's a high punt and not that deep, and it takes a healthy Michigan State bounce. So a very rare poor punt for Arizona State's Michael Turk. Might be his shortest of the season. The receivers in the first half did have some drops. That was only a 26-yard boot. You know, you got to make these catches.
Well, you do, and some of them were difficult behind the back, and then this one right here was just beyond the outreached hand of a bigger player. They had a little bit more athleticism. You don't make that, but a tight end to make that drop, that's inexcusable. Lewerke was frustrated, but they've got to come back and put a premium on execution in order to flip the script here in the second half.
There you see the offensive leaders. Expect more from Darrell Stewart in this half. Number 25 at wide receiver.
Wow.
And this man, too, Elijah Collins. Great penetration up front by Arizona State's Cam Phillips. Just bursting through there. Had help from Jermaine Lole with an outstanding move, too, as defensive end, the youngster from Long Beach Poly.
Yeah, he came from that left defensive end position. You're going to see him come into your screen. Lole comes in there, and he's a load, man. Just takes on the block, gets down. Low man will win that battle every time. Low and big man.
Hayward and Jefferson now in the backfield. And the quick curl is to Darrell Stewart. And he's ahead for about 4.
Butler involved in what they call a banjo kind of coverage there. That's, you can imagine a banjo putting between your body and your hands playing it. You got a defender on either side, and that's when they call it banjo coverage. And Coach Antonio is looking at a team that's able to play man, but they're mixing up some zone in this back end with Andy Gonzalez, the defensive coordinator for Arizona State as well. 3rd
down and 6. Michigan State trying to take advantage of good field position after the exchange of punts. And there's the crossing pattern. Stewart on that quick slant. Gets it ahead to the 41-yard line. Merlin Robertson makes the stop, an 11-yard gain, first down.
Yeah, when you go trip formation away to the field and you got off coverage, it's almost like stealing. Any one of those guys can come underneath in that situation there. If they're not open and they can't find a path to get open, somebody's going to come open in that. There's the line to gain mark. Getting a first down there is like stealing in that package.
They'll mark it at the 43-yard line of Arizona State. Lewerke under pressure. Down he goes.
There's that guy again.
Lole began it or finished it off. There was also pressure coming from George Lee, 17, the senior from New Orleans.
Down Spartan.
Yep. Is this another offensive lineman? That's more trouble. Luke Campbell, 62. Junior out of Ohio. And oh man. And it's early in the season to be this depleted up front.
It was Sophie's.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Coors Light, made to chill, celebrate responsibly, and by Domino's. Order online and track your order. Let's take a look at that play moments ago.
Yeah, here's George Lee here working on an inside game. This here action is what causes a couple of things. The injury as well to number 62, Luke Campbell, on this particular play. First of all, playing with integrity. They basically just swap responsibility, and Lee just runs through Luke Campbell and causes the injury in the process. That's a call of 2 for 1, Timmy. You're not trying to hurt him. Yeah. That's a big-time play there, though.
Now, Blake Buter has come in at that left guard spot. And here's Lewerke's pass. He was rushed heavily again.
The same guy.
Stewart, the intended receiver. And one more time, you see the pressure really from up the gut. Jermaine Lole, number 90, and at the top. You could really pressure from both areas.
Lole is coming from here, and apparently we got pressure from down here as well. So a nice little zone blitz combination. Love that play. Defensive lineman stands down and then pulls back up and is replaced by defensive back. That can be totally confusing, and that's why Lewerke had some indecision about where to go with that ball.
Danny Gonzalez's defense has been outstanding
it's
today.
great. He's mixing it up big time.
Really is. 3rd and 14. Beautiful pitch and catch to Cody White. And that last stretch might be good enough to net him the necessary yardage. It looks to be about a half-yard shy.
Well, this is just 1-2 here. Again, he sticks that ball out there, understanding that he's on the boundary. And even if he loses a handle on it, chances are it's going out of bounds. But I think they're going to give him that. You got to get that one on effort, man.
No, he didn't.
He didn't?
No, he's a yard
that ball
shy.
was stuck out there, though, Tim.
Yep, but he was out of bounds. Apparently the right foot was out of bounds as he was sticking it out. So it's not just a half yard, it's a full yard.
Wow.
And it looks like they're going to go.
So, yeah, it had to be the foot, though.
When you've lost and missed 2 field goals, you got to go for it here. Connor Hayward is the setback.
Wow.
Bingo! What a hit by Evan Fields.
I think they may have stopped him, Tim.
Arizona State clearly denied them there.
Well, that was a favorable spot, looks like it. Whoa.
Oh, no. They got a favorable spot, but it is not good enough.
Well, I'm telling you, and you got to be careful about, you talk about ebb and flow in the course of a game. What does that do to your emotions? Your kicker is 0 for 2. You got the ball turned over in your home field. This is supposed to be a Spartan crowd, and by the strictest sense of the definition, that hadn't lived up to that billing today.
Evan Fields, great penetration. Youngster from Oklahoma City, Midwest City High School.
Midwest City Bombers representing today.
Big time play. Boy, I'm telling you, I had heard a lot of things about Danny Gonzalez coming in, this young offensive coordinator.
Man, that
played at New Mexico State back in the day, and New Mexico, beg your pardon, and as a safety, tutored under Coach Long and got this job, and what a masterful performance he's put in today defensively, and he's really got Michigan State offensively on their heels, as you see Benjamin ahead for 5 on 1st down.
And he was really not reticent to take this job when Herm Edwards, the way he sold it, he wasn't really too aggressive, but he was waiting on him at every point. Coach said he had to call his wife and say, look, can you send my suit to me? I got to make a trip. She said, where you going? She said, I've been offered a job. Herm worked on him, and he got him.
I think it was great teams at New Mexico go all the way back to Joe Morrison before he went to South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Underneath, that pass incomplete. Good pressure. It is incomplete. Do we get a flag? I believe we did. Raekwon Williams may be guilty of the late hit on the quarterback.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 99. Contact to the passer's helmet. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Yeah, Raekwon's going to the head and neck area with that right hand, and that's what really caused it, Tim. And it's one of those deals where Raekwon has got that big mid up. Here it is right here. You see it's going to come to the head.
I understand why he's a little upset. Ladarius Henderson was holding him.
Sure he was.
That was a hold that was missed that led to the penalty on roughing the passer.
But if there's anybody on that line that can deal with a call like that in terms of personality, this is an impressive young man, Raekwon Williams.
Is he ever? A great opportunity yesterday for us to visit with him. The mayor, they call him, of the streets of Chicago. Benjamin ahead for a couple. Now a quick word from Duracell.
New Duracell Optimum. Extra life in some devices, or extra power in
the most enjoyable aspect, Spencer, of what we do, getting to meet these young men. And Raekwon and Josh Butler are 2 of the finest young men you'll ever find a part of this Michigan State defense.
Well, they truly live out the notion that football is life, and the things that they overcome are quite impressive.
You know, Benjamin is in the backfield. Daniels just short on that one. He was looking for Ryan Newsom, number 17. First time he's been targeted today. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
You know, back in the day when I threw the ball or played in a team that tried to throw the ball and was a running team, Tim, you have to get your shoulders square and set to deliver a ball like that. Used to watch option guys like Jamel Holloway, who didn't throw it a lot, but when they did, a tenet of that throw is you've got to get your feet square and set to deliver. It's a fairly easy throw, as athletic as this kid is.
3rd and 8 from the 43 of Michigan State.
see if they use this field to their advantage.
Daniels, pressure up the middle. Incomplete. Bocce got in the way that time. He disrupted it. Benjamin, the intended receiver. But at long last, we got to call Joe Bocce's name. Number 35 from Brook Park, Ohio.
Yeah, he's been pretty silent for a number of reasons. You pointed out the quick game and getting the ball out. That particular case, a lot of times, the screen game is there, and it looks worst just before there's a big play. But Bocce had help to help him seal the deal on that play. So, again, good inside rush, but everybody played it safely on the back end. Wilkerson company wasn't totally committed to the rush, which is what you have to play on the screen.
Brandon Sowards is back deep. And deep safety, and again, Turk is going to go end over end and try to pooch this. Get it down inside the 10, and look at that landing. Look at that landing, and it is downed around the 2-yard line. Jack Jones down there to do the honors after a 39-yard boot.
Tell him we're flexible. Don't worry.
Moment in this game.
He sure is. You know, in fact, Mark D'Antonio calls him the mayor. And, of course, he's not the mayor of Chicago, but it is something that D'Antonio believes he may one day be able to do. He's got those smarts and those savvy.
He spends any of his free time finding great literature that his old third-grade teacher who became mentor gives him. It was almost a safety. Elijah Collins with the handoff that time.
On the field as the runner was stopped in the field of play. Second down.
It was close. -3 on the play. Really backs him up.
What a finish Coley's thought. I mean, Coach D'Antonio said he'd vote for him. He'd be in that campaign to vote for Raekwon.
Yeah, forward progress is out. His knee is down right there. Yeah. And we've got another injured. Do we have an injured player? It's Thomas. It's Kersey Thomas who was in. Looks like he may just have a Charlie horse or cramp, judging by what the trainers are doing. Coley, go ahead and continue your thought on Raekwon while we have a moment.
Yeah, well, you know, Raekwon, as you actually alluded to on the last drive, he's been through a lot in his life. And sadly, within the last couple of years while he's been at Michigan State, he actually lost a brother and a cousin who was like a brother, lost them both to gang violence in Chicago. He's from the west side of Chicago, so he certainly knows the issues that the city needs fixing. He's not necessarily planning to be the mayor right now, but he does certainly understand what's at stake in his city. And in fact, he is taking on his the role of a mentor, so to speak, a role model, not just to his own family, but to other kids in the Chicago area.
Well, that quote says it all. He's gonna get there. I'll campaign for him too. You know, D'Antonio he understands the opportunity and moment to coach these guys coming back for a senior year. Guys like Willicus and Bocce, and certainly Raekwon Williams, who's got a enormous career in front of him. He is a modern-day living blindside story. We'll be right back.
I'm a tailgate.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. You know, to put a cap on that story around Raekwon Williams, that mentor third-grade teacher was Mackenzie Hyde. Really saw something in him. He was valedictorian of the 8th grade. She got him into Paul Prep, which was formerly Gordon Tech. And he was exemplary in the classroom. And as a result, she helped lift him to a position where he could go to college. And after living with his grandma and cousins, and he credits her to this day. They talk 2 or 3 times a week. Just yesterday they spoke.
About Alexander Hamilton.
I mean, it is absolutely a modern-day version, a living version of what Michael Orr's story was in the blind side. 2nd and 13. From the end zone, Lewerke with a quick out to Seibert again, who had the biggest play, a 48-yard reception, you'll recall, prior to that first missed field goal. Only ahead for 2 yards. Chase Lucas the stop.
When I think of Michigan State, I don't really think of working on the edges like that. I look at pounding it out and getting some space. You know, again, I understand you're capable of doing it. But when you're down here and you're playing against a guy with an NFL mind, they will find a way to neutralize your strengths. And I think that's exactly what this Arizona State defense has done throughout this game to this point.
3rd down and 11. They go empty. So no max protection for Lewerke here. He gets rid of it fast. It's caught. What a catch. It's Stewart for a first down. Well, that's the biggest play of the afternoon for Michigan State. Bigger than the pass to Seibert.
Well, you talk about a great ability to make a play and throwing a dime right between two defenders. We call this high-low, over the top and in between. A safety running to that boundary, then the underneath coverage. Lewerke put that one right in between them, and that was just an airmail delivery right on the spot.
Oh, hands of Velcro right there from Stewart, too. He checks out. Ladarius Jefferson is in, number 15.
Huge first down.
No doubt. In a game like this that seems to be field position oriented, the rest of the way we've got flags down prior to the snap.
Before the ball was snapped, timeout, Michigan State, their first charge timeout of the half. This will be a full timeout.
Well, we'll see if there's some mojo that comes from that completion.
Set the clock to 7:28.
Well, before last week's game, Michigan State receivers coach Don Treadwell showed his group the movie Braveheart for the very first time. And after his career game, Darrell Stewart Jr. said he was motivated by the classic movie. Can't believe he had not seen that yet.
Well, it's been a long time ago.
It has
Gibson.
been.
Let's see if he can channel his William Wallace. His inner William Wallace.
One of the classics, no doubt about it. Yep. Anthony Williams, by the way, we did not see him here a couple of weeks ago when Tulsa played. They did perform well in limited action a week ago. He comes out in motion. Lewerke with a quick slant to the tight end. Dotson again. Seibert and Dotson have been the favorite targets. Juan Markham, number 12, the strong safety, making the stop. That's a 20-yard pickup.
Kewan came up and made the play, but again, like you said, it wasn't until the chains were clearly going to move, and a great catch. The inside receiver, physical play to get yards after the contact in the first place. Just outstanding pitch and catch and additional yards.
Markham was hanging on for dear life there. 2 straight plays of 20-plus yards. First time that's happened today for Michigan State. Anthony Williams gets out ahead. Another 3 or 4 yards. Well, that's maybe some extracurricular activity here. Fans responding, and not in kind, I might add.
Well, Arizona State had a 3-man front. Again, this great play selection column by Brad Salem. He's doing a nice job of mixing it up. Here's the extracurricular activity. Watch 41 right here, and he's going to. There he is.
Yeah, that's Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson
getting after Higbee. Tyler Higbee. If you've thrown one, you generally expect the flag to come.
Sir.
I understand why the booing took place. At the edge here. Williams cuts it back inside. He'll be a yard shy of the first down. Kobe Williams with a tackle, 4-yard gain.
Yeah, Kobe was out there anchoring at his field position at the cornerback, and he was there. But again, that was one of the first time I've seen Michigan State able to get to the edge against this speedy Arizona State defense. Brad Salem, a great mind, understands the game, been there a long time.
Tell you what, Arizona State very quietly, Chris Thomas has been out of the game for a while. They've given up yardage between the 20s, no doubt about it, but they have been unyielding once the ball got into the red zone. And Hayward is stopped after only a yard gain. That's Markham again making the stop. These numbers will illustrate the point. Not allowing any points through the first 3 quarters. Only one of 2 FBS teams to do that, Wisconsin being the other.
So you want to put a caveat beside that because they played a MAC team and then an FCS team, but they're doing it against the big boys here. So,
yes, they are.
So that transcends anything, and you don't have to qualify anything.
We waited to use that graphic until they got midway into this 3rd quarter. See?
Well, that means they're more than a dark horse. This is a dangerous team, Arizona State.
A rare silver lining, really, for the Pac-12 at this early stage of 2019. Lewerke in trouble, flushed, and will take himself out. Tyler Johnson there to make certain as he's pushed out at the 46-yard line.
Tyler Johnson's been active on this series. Again, they're working him on the edges, and these guys are used to competing in the heat out there, but there's some of them, you look at that offensive line, they got their hands on their hips as well, looking a little bit labored. They got to understand that training has already been determined. You know, games are often won long before you reach. So there's never a game that should outpace you based on what your preparation is.
Matt Allen is still at center. And up the gut they go with Elijah Collins. 5 yards. This Michigan State offensive line has been adversely affected with injury, as we mentioned. And a reminder, Jalen Hurts and company on display against the Bruins of UCLA in our nightcap tonight. Brock Ewart and Joe Davis preparing for that one out at the Rose Bowl.
See if Hurts can put up with the Tua. I think he posted some significant numbers, right?
And if there is a club that is in desperate need of a good showing, it's UCLA. On 3rd and 4, pressure. They got him. It's Tyler Johnson again, and he dumps it out of there. Wow. Somehow he got it out. And Stewart on the receiving end. Herm, I think, wanted forward progress stopped.
Yeah, I don't.
And doesn't understand why that was not the call, but give Lewerke credit. He got it to Stewart.
Nothing they can do about it now.
The ruling on the field is the quarterback threw a forward pass before he was down.
Yeah.
4th down.
Well,
how about the athleticism of Lewerke?
Give him credit for that.
Just get rid of it.
Give him credit for that, but I got to believe that in this day and age, the way they protect quarterbacks.
I give him a lot of credit. That was Drew Brees-esque right there. Yeah. Brandon Ayuk is back deep, awaiting the punt. End over end. Ayuk with a fair catch at the 8. 36-yard boot. Well, before NFL games kick off tomorrow on Fox, we invite you to download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play Super 6 NFL Sunday for free. A chance to win also $250,000 of Terry Bradshaw's money. I love the fact that it's Terry's money.
I think Mr. Minshew, our former quarterback in Washington State, is going to be battling the Houston Texans. We'll see how he fares.
Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback with the mustache of mad scientist Mike Leach fame. And by the way, congratulations to Washington State on that win at Houston last night. From the 8, Eno Benjamin stopped. He may have lost a yard, maybe the line of scrimmage. That's it. Joe Bacci making the tackle for Michigan State.
That play flowed that way because number 48 opposite of him reduced down and flushed everything down. He's just such an impactful player. And we said this last couple of weeks ago when we were doing the Tulsa game, that the player that makes the play isn't necessarily always the guy that made the play happen. And that play was made by number 48's reduction, which forced the runner to go the total opposite direction.
This capacity crowd of near 75,000 being heard from.
He got him.
Pass was thrown behind the intended receiver, Curtis Hodges.
Xavier Henderson, the strong safety position back there defending. Nice job, a bang-bang play. No question, though, he was there at the same time as the ball got there. Excellent defense on the back end for Sparty.
Arizona State only has 116 total yards. And these fans are ready to see their defense maybe do more than just limit them, maybe even score for them.
This is about flipping the field and giving your offense a short porch to score.
Daniels will tuck it and run. Look out, he's got speed. He's got the first down. How about that? Josiah Scott makes the tackle, and that is just nifty moving by a young man that's got a tremendous ceiling for success.
Well, he hasn't been one to do that tonight, and that's the part of the game plan. But when he had to, backed up, no alternative to release the ball to a receiver, he did what comes natural and instinctively. And Herm Edwards is looking at an excellent performance by his quarterback, playing within their game plan and running only when he has to.
And only wonder what he might be able to do with a better and more experienced offensive line in time at ASU. From the 19, first down. Daniels is flushed. Markers down, pass incomplete. That was Frank Darby, the intended receiver. The marker thrown in the backfield in an area where holding the preliminary indication.
You know, if Khalifa was on the back end of that play, Tim, that may be surprising.
Offense, number 56. Half the distance through the goal. Replay, first down.
Alex Lasoya, number 56. The guilty party, the left guard.
Well, you can see him right there. That's where the infraction occurred.
Warren Beasley had a little face basket, looked like, too, number 86. While bringing that pressure, that backs him up to just inside the 10. First and just under 20. 3 wides to the bottom of your screen. Eno has just not found anything between the tackles. A yard, and that's all.
In a stout defense, you got to still keep them honest. And when you get them conscious and worried about the inside dive play or inside zone play, then maybe you get some man coverage on the perimeter and you take a shot. This is essentially the way I see it, almost like a 3-down. You anticipate against the #1 rated defense in the nation of having to punt it more often than not.
6 carries, 27 yards for Eno Benjamin. I think they'd like to get him more involved in the passing game. To this point, they simply haven't.
I'm taking a shot here.
Kyle Williams in the game, number 10.
That's
Benjamin
not a good play.
Stopped at the 10-yard line, and Willikis. You know, he's not going to have any sacks today because they're getting rid of the ball so quickly, but just stuffing the run, and Michigan State's better at that than anybody in the league, maybe even the country.
Well, you're not going to get anything inside against these guys. They got their lather up in their end zone. Got this Arizona State team struggling for yardage inside. I think you would have done better by to take a shot on that play.
They take a couple of field goals to win, or dare I say a touchdown. Old style, big time intersectional football. It's close. And will be more entertaining in the fourth quarter because it's so close. Stay right where you are.
Fun fact, 1 in 4 of us millennials.
Here's this afternoon's Pacific Life game summary. Defense, 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 and yes, some made field goal by Zendejas and missed field goals by Coughlin. He had come in perfect on the year, and he's 0 for 2 today. And now those misses psychologically could play a big, big factor here in the fourth quarter for both Herman Edwards and his counterpart, Mark D'Antonio, looking to make some history today and become the winningest coach in the history of Michigan State football.
Tim, there's a story inside the story, and hopefully we get a chance to talk about the anatomy of this win or potential win relative to last year's game.
Benjamin just trying to get some space to boot it out of there, give them better field position. That should tell you about the anatomy of the game plan. Just to get it out, start all over again. Bocce with the stop. You know, no N'Keal Harry anymore.
Nope.
And now playing and hurt with the New England Patriots. You got a young team with a maybe transformational quarterback for the future, but they're playing within themselves, Arizona State. The uglier it looks, the better their chances.
Manny Wilkins threw for 380 in that game, and again, it's the anatomy of how they're winning. Even without that production through the air, they're still managing to keep this Spartan team on its heels.
Turk will boot it away. Cody White is back deep, and here he goes. And there he goes. Down to the 35 of Arizona State. Marker down. Back at the 40-yard line.
And you just hope this holding is going to be holding against Sparty, and that's the unfortunate part of this. You flip the field, and a mistake, an error, is going to bring it all back.
Return, holding, receiving team number 14. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be first down.
Absolutely a killer.
Yeah, Davion Williams was the guilty party here, and I don't think it had anything to do. It was far, far away from the play itself. And that's just sort of the way things have been going today for D'Antonio's team. For every step forward, a couple of steps back. In this case, way too many steps. All the way back to the 30-yard line.
That's one of those plays where I think there should be discretion. If the infraction happens far away from the play and had no material impact on the outcome of the play, I think you keep that handkerchief in your back pocket. I'm serious, man.
I know, your player perspective and a former special teamer. You know as well as anyone. That cost them 36 yards, by the way. Elijah Collins is the lone setback on first down for Lewerke.
Well, this guy's been active.
Evan Fields the stop. Now here's a quick word from Duracell.
New Duracell Optimum. Extra life in some devices or extra power in others versus copper top.
Second down and 8. Evan Fields made that stop. Elijah Collins is the setback. Lewerke goes underneath. There's his man, Julian Barnett. He is free and into Sun Devil territory inside the 40.
Chalked his play up to Matt Dotson. Did an excellent job of creating a natural run. We won't call it a pick. But 89 is out there, and that allows him to come wide open. It almost looked as if the receiver was wide open, but it was because of the natural rub created by his battery mate, Dotson. Excellent job.
Hayward and Jefferson the setbacks on 1st and 10. And marker comes down pre-snap.
Yeah, the inside slot motion.
Well, and again, remember, this is an offensive line that's been
Darrell Stewart
moved around as well.
Yeah, Stewart's been good.
Offense,
25.
number 2. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, Barnett, who made the big play, moving prematurely that time.
Oh, Darrell Stewart Jr. was in the slot. I thought he was the one that moved. Doesn't matter who it's on, it goes against him. So here he is. Yeah,
that's the move, the first move. Could have gone on either, probably. 1st and 15. Lewerke dropped by Jefferson, and he had some room. He really did in open spaces. Now converging defenders, including Jack Jones, the USC transfer that they are really pumped to have. They got him late. Redshirt junior out of Long Beach.
Well, this looks like an easy catch, but I can tell you, first of all, 2 things. He let the ball climb up on his helmet. It was a little bit high, should have been able to pluck it, but when you have to turn your shoulders and you're running horizontal to the line of scrimmage, it is not a natural move. If you put that ball out in front of him, then he can run underneath it without even breaking stride.
2nd down and 15. Wow. Curl, that was a dangerous pass. White receives it, but Jack Jones was moving in on it, and Spencer with his speed, and it is world-class speed. The former Trojan, he could have had a pick and maybe going the other way. Take a look at how close this was.
Well, you've heard me say it twice today. Watch him drive on the ball right there. Yeah. The relative proximity to the ball, folks, it's a reoccurring theme, but that's what makes Manny Gonzalez's back end, that defense, what it is. It is special because they are pure athletes on the back end. You start lagging that ball out there, and it's a house shot for you the opposite direction.
3rd and 9. Stewart in motion to the slot right. Out pattern to him. He's got it. Spun down at the 27-yard line. It's a first down. Evan Fields the tackle. Michigan State's got a little something going here.
That wasn't really a particularly fast route. I mean, anytime these guys are doing this or coming up the field, what they're trying to do is get a switch route underneath and let the defense sort it out. Sometimes all it takes is one guy reading inside and maybe his hips aren't turned proper. Creating separation is what they're looking for. And proximity we talked about is lost when you can't sort out the route package.
Gain of 11. Connor Hayward in the backfield now. Play fake on the read. Lewerke goes back to him. And he's down at the 22-yard line. Jack Jones getting quite a bit of work since clocking into the game, especially on this series.
You got to have a snap and clear mentality. All that means is if you have a bad play that comes your way, like Jack did on that previous play, you clear it, then make an open field tackle to save a touchdown. Good football. He's a good football player.
2nd down and 4.
Got a little blitz look here off the edge.
Here they come. Lewerke holds on. Great convergence by 41 Tyler Johnson. Boy, you talk about quick. This redshirt sophomore has been all over the place today out of Highland Community College.
Well, he did come, but watch him come all the way from outside there on that edge, and he finally gets to the quarterback.
Third and 2. And I got to believe with the kicking woes they've had, Spencer, it's probably 4-down territory here.
No question.
Hayward remains the setback. C.J. Hayes to the bottom of your screen. He goes for the out pattern. It's caught. At the 15, Cody White, first down. They'll mark it at the 14.
And Kobe Williams was there, and he drove on that ball, but that's a nice throw to the field. It's a lot of water in between where Lewerke was, but that's a big-time throw. Put enough on it. Not floating out there where Williams could have broken on that play and headed the opposite direction. Good execution by Lewerke.
You know, with the domination of this game statistically by Michigan State, it's, by the way, around 3-1 now in terms of overall yardage. The yardage advantage they have. You got to be thinking if you score a touchdown, it's ball game. That Arizona State simply cannot score on your defense. Lewerke 23 to 34 for 266. Collins stopped at the 10 by Evan Fields. Now it's at this stage of the field where Danny Gonzalez's defense has really been tough. Let's see what happens now.
You're right. It's a great tackle, first of all. They have, as you pointed out, been bend but not break. And we see that as kind of a trademark of these 3-3-5 schemes. They'll give you something on the back end because their guys are playing so far from the line of scrimmage with just 3 down linemen. But this is where you don't have to worry about getting beat now. You can bring those bodies up close to the line of scrimmage. Their athleticism should be an advantage down here.
Just their second trip into the red zone today. There goes Collins. It's touchdown.
Well, Tim, it looks just like an inside zone read. And again, we put it in motion and just show you exactly where this play bends back. It comes, a little counter play, and he sees a little soft spot right here. And that's where he eventually winds up going, to the outside. And Jack is looking for a hold call on that play, but he's not going to get it. That's a well-designed play. Instinctive run by the back for a touchdown.
Now, this young man had 192 last week, the most by a starting Michigan State running back, and second most by a Michigan State freshman all time. Javon Ringer had 194 as a freshman in 05. He came off the bench that day. This young man got the start, and he got his first career touchdown at a most opportune time.
I saved hundreds when I switched my car insurance.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year. Well, we heard from Danny Gonzalez. It told us, you know, without question, we go as that young man goes. B.J. Davidson, and coming through the middle, he injured himself.
Well, you can see him there again.
Oh.
Just falls on his wrist, it looks like.
Yeah, all of that pressure and all that weight coming down the wrong way on his wrist or hand. Very concerning for not only the rest of this game and maybe beyond.
Well, let's see if Sparty picks up on that, and then Brad Salem begins to run inside run game, because without the ability to push from that nose tackle position, this aggressive but certainly weakened because of Davidson's absence at the nose tackle position, becomes a vulnerability for this team.
That goes to an up receiver. That's Frank Darby, who's got great speed. He's one of the burners at wide receiver. He gets ahead to the 35. Well, the first score of this game since the field goal at the 3:40 mark of the first quarter. Oh, Elijah took it in from 21 on a 21-yard return. Fox College Football is sponsored by Pacific Life. 150 years strong, protection and retirement solutions for your future. And Fox Sports Supports is proud to partner with Action for Healthy Kids, a nonprofit organization working to improve children's health and well-being in schools nationwide. Learn how you can participate and take your parent to PE Week. That's something special, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
from September 23rd to the 27th. All you need to do is visit Active School Us. That's activeschoolus.org, PE Week.
Almost a 2-to-1 ratio in total yards, and you know, just 4 points the difference here. And that's amazing to me that Arizona State has managed to stay in this game without a prolific numbers at quarterback and receiver.
Well, at this stage, who's Michigan State concerned with? Backside pressure. Ball is on the field, and it could be Michigan State's. Kenny Willekes got there at long last with a backside pressure. The All-America, number 48.
I think Arizona
Marker
State
down 2. It looks like Arizona State's got the ball.
He got it back, I think.
Well, the officials taking the brunt of it. That's our center judge, Chris Wiggins, that took the spill.
Wow.
And it's Michigan State's football.
Willekes got in there, though. And Willekes is going to come around with that right hand. He's arguably being held out there by Henderson, Ladarius Henderson.
Oh boy, Cabral fell. The ball was going to be recovered by the lineman 56, and Cabral unfortunately fell on the seat of his pants, and that enabled Losoya the chance of getting the recovery.
He submarined him and got underneath him.
And that's exactly what happened. Panashuk with the recovery, it appears. And we got a marker down to go along with it. That's his 20th career sack, by the way, for Kenny Willekes.
Before the ball was fumbled, personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 99. The ball is returned to the offense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Talk about new life. I mean, this is your ball game right here. And Raekwon Williams, 99, the guilty party. Second time Raekwon's been hit with a tough penalty. One was a late hit. This is hands to the face, and he was backing up. You'll see it's Cabral that he's knocking backwards, which basically enabled Losoya 56 from recovering the ball.
Well, the other infraction was a hand to the head of Lewerke, and again, when you're working up like that, you're trying to remember yesterday he told us about the pole or extension move he's been working on. That's a move he's been working on, but you can't do that to the head and neck area.
Big break for Arizona State. They're at midfield, and they've done virtually nothing to get there.
It's self-inflicted, though, Tim.
1st and 10.
They better decide right here.
Daniels in trouble again, gets away. Look out. He slides down 2 yards behind the line.
You can't give him an A for sorting through it and making a play out of it, but just avoiding the loss is what you give him credit for. Again, I don't know how he was going to make something out of that play because they gave him an overload look and then they rolled a single safety. I don't know how he counts those numbers, but only a seasoned quarterback can discern what to do against that look. Brilliant, brilliant defensive look.
2nd down. Look at that penetration. Unreal. Willekes again.
Well, 48 special. Again, I talked about how last week this guy's able to move from that outside position. If it's a wide 7 or 9 technique, he still can get in there. See him come from this position outside. It's a wide 9 technique. J.J. Watt loves to get down in that 4-point frog stance and come blitzing down there. Knowing he's got support behind him, D'Antonio thinks this is exactly what we need to get a close one at home.
You think he's a J.J. Watt light, don't you?
He's a smaller version of him. Yeah. Again, same quickness. They give him the freedom to move about as he chooses, but you've got to do it with integrity. They're even doing it now, giving him a double legal up, then moving late.
Benjamin trying to stretch it out. Boy, look at that. An amazing run for about 3 yards. And Bocci knocks him out. And like a heavyweight fighter at the end of a round, he just lumbers his way back to the bench.
We haven't seen much of it tonight because of this smothering defense, but boy, I tell you, someone said describe his running style. He's like a ball of knives. It's tough to get angles on this kid. Watch him turn and spin and get upfield the opposite direction. You know how difficult it is, Tim, to spin the opposite direction of where your body is heading? That takes great body control. He knows he's got it.
4th and 12, they'll play field position and hope their defense can get a stop. Michigan State could, in effect, take it and milk it the rest of the way and claim a hard-earned victory. Cody White with a fair catch at the 10. 41-yard boot. Kenny Willekes. He had 5 tackles, 3 solos, a couple of sacks and tackles for losses. Took a while to hear from Willekes, but oh, have we of late. By Coors Light, made to chill, celebrate responsibly. And I'm maybe a few minutes away from doing that. At Northwestern, that's been historically a tough matchup for them. We were here for the game last year and they lost. In fact, he actually compared this team on film to Northwestern. He told us that they match up similarly, and he was right. Prophetic, really, as you see Elijah Collins taking it ahead for just a yard to the 10.
In case we're wondering how they're faring without DJ Davison on this first play, they're holding him essentially to 1 yard. That's pretty impressive, because he is the straw that stirs this defense, man. It's not the same without him.
I'm really impressed with Danny Gonzalez's defense.
Well, he lost a lot last year with Rennell Wynn.
Shannon Foreman, 97, who stepped in, a junior out of Southern Lab in Baton Rouge. Spencer.
Yeah, there you go, Tim. Cajun action.
Yeah, you gotta recruit down there. Marcus Spears was a Southern Lab player as well. Elijah Collins gets ahead for a couple of yards. That's Jermaine Lollet, number 90. Fans a little disgruntled with the play selection here. They'd like to see something a little bit more charismatic, but at this stage it's about getting first downs and having that clock go tick, tick, tick.
Well, if you're going to lose, you're going to struggle or lose the way that you do what you do best, and you're taking shots and things of that nature. And I'm of the opinion if you got the tools, you use them if they're in their toolbox. But that just doesn't seem to be the ethos here, in my opinion.
Well, in the end, you trust your defense if you're D'Antonio, do you not?
No question. That's the culture.
I mean,
that's what they are.
3rd and 7. 4 wides for Lewerke. They will chunk it. And it's a slant, and it's first. Oh, no, they're going to mark him a yard back. Flag down 2. Cody White had it. He is shy of the first down.
A little nice pop there, too. That may be against the offense, though.
Yeah,
Tim.
penalty flag, a preliminary indication against Michigan State. And that'll really give you a conservative call in the next sequence, one would think.
Pass interference. Offense, number 89. Half the distance to the goal from the previous spot.
That's got to be a pick.
Replay, 3rd down.
Got to be a pick, doesn't it, on Dotson, 89?
Yep.
Got to be.
Well, he's just moving upfield. He actually was successful at getting away with one of those earlier on a big play.
Yeah, D'Antonio doesn't agree. Yeah, he cleared the way, you might recall, for that big play they had in their drive for the touchdown a moment ago. He along with Seibert, the tight ends have been targeted more than any other position by Lewerke today. 3rd and 14 now. Empty backfield.
5 wide. A lot of pressure on these cover guys.
Here they come. Over the middle. Stewart. He's got it.
Wow, what a great catch.
First down.
What a pressure catch that is.
Number 25 of the offense lost his, excuse me.
He's got to come out.
25 of the offense lost his helmet. He has to leave the game for 1 play.
Well, they can do without him on the next one, but they sure needed him on this one. Wow. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Did that ball come out and hit the ground? I don't know.
Tim, he may have trapped that ball.
I think so. Look at this.
Yeah, I think he may have
Watch
trapped
the ball.
that ball.
This will be the angle you want to see. Does the nose of the ball hit the ground? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. There should be a ring down. And there will be a ring down.
Oh, doctor.
Yep. Hold your water, partner. Hold your water.
Oh, it still doesn't negate the effort, but
no,
boy, I tell you.
Moving on the field is a catch. The previous play is now under replay review.
Stewart made an incredible catch with that one-hander from back in their own end zone, which I thought enabled them to, from a field position standpoint, get in position to take control of the second half.
Great call by Brad Salem, having the courage to go with the slant route. One-on-one matchup, physical, active catch, but just not able to bring it in. The ball with the end of it clearly pointing up, not having control of it.
You see, he's good here, but then right
the point is out.
Yeah, the ball is out. As his chest is rolling over, the ball comes out. He sold it nicely when he got up, but I think Brian knows that that's going to be an incompletion. By the way, Brad Salem, another one of those coaches that have given so much credit to D'Antonio. His dad was a coach. His twin brother, also a coach. All three of the kids in his family. His dad was at Northern Arizona for many years.
How could you not like him, though? His personality. I mean, a guy that's balanced like Brett Salem is. He's got an understanding about life. You know, left coaching for a year and was doing some other things in the business world and came back and decided he wanted to impact kids' lives. And talking to him, that guy understands it. He gets it.
A lot like D'Antonio, these guys are a disciplined program with a lot of sentiment and a great degree of empathy, which in today's world you really need. And I think when we look back at D'Antonio's career, that's what we're going to be saying about his history.
After review, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be Michigan State's ball. 4th down at the 7-yard line.
Well, they were killing us on Twitter before.
Oh, yeah,
they're really killing us now. Yeah.
Hey, look, we say what we see. That's all we do, man.
Yeah.
We say what we see.
And if we misspeak, we'll correct it and move on. But that was a correctable error, and the officials cleared it up.
Absolutely.
Hartbarger will punt it away, and another opportunity coming now for Arizona State. They could steal one here.
My goodness.
By the way, Ayuk, who's back deep, is capable of making a big play out of the punt game.
And Timmy, you got to make him work for this. You cannot punt the ball in the center of the field. You must make him drive.
Game timer, please reset the clock to 3:26. 3:26 on the game clock.
Not at all what the crowd needed to hear.
No. But again,
5 more seconds for this next possession.
Let me quickly unpack this. What he's got to do. The punter's got to corner this ball in such a way where the return man has got to work for it. The coverage unit has got to squeeze that narrow lane down like a funnel.
Game timer, please reset the clock to 3:47. 3:47.
Now that's 21 more seconds. Wow.
If you give him the entire field, that's too much of an option to ask your team to cover while they're being blocked. Wow.
3:47 on the game clock. 3:47.
Wow.
Well, I certainly get it. When you say it's 3:21 and then you go to 3:47, you're kind of begging for criticism.
Making work.
High boot and a beauty to
That's a
Brandon
beautiful.
Ayuk.
That's in the middle of the field, Tim.
Flag down again. Ayuk down at the 36.
Great defensive play.
Dominic Long was down there to make the play. Number 9. And we'll have to check the flag. It could even be worse for Arizona State if this flag is against them.
Dominic Long got down there, but Tim, when that ball's in the middle of the field like that, and you've given a lead return guy the ability to go either way,
the kick.
It's putting a lot.
Holding, receiving team number 3. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. It'll be 1st down for ASU.
Talk about flipping the field. How about this? So holding in special teams, and now the freshman of great influence is center stage.
The people have spoken, and they agree. Nobody does spicy chicken like Wendy's. So all hail the Queen of Spice.
All hail the Queen.
Because we're bringing the heat with our spicy nuggets. Get them while they're hot.
Come on.
And for those who can't get enough spice, try our original spicy chicken sandwich. It's so good, it speaks for itself.
All hail the Queen.
Well said. Get your go-to Wendy's meal delivered for game day with DoorDash.
It would be great if human beings were great at being human. And if all of mankind were made up of kind women and kind men. It would be spectacular if the golden rule was golden to every man. And the good things that we ever did was everything that we can.
Treating others like we'd like to be treated has always been our guiding principle.
Guys, I want you to meet someone. This is Jamie. You're going to be seeing a lot more of him now.
Not calling him Dad.
Oh, no.
Look, I get it. Some new guy comes in, helping your mom bundle and save with Progressive. But hey, we're all in this together. Right, champ? I'll get more nuggets. How about some carrots? You don't want to ruin your dinner.
You're not my dad!
That's fair. Overstepped.
Here's your Buick, sir. Actually, that's my Buick.
Your Buick doesn't have a roof rack. This is my Buick.
How are we gonna fit in your mom's Buick?
Easy.
I like that new Buick.
Me too.
I was actually talking about that Buick.
I knew that.
Did you?
Buick's fresh new lineup is full of surprises. Kick off football season with Buick. Current eligible non-GM owners get 13 to 20% below MSRP on most of these Buick models.
Kristen Wiig leads an all-star cast in the family comedy that some call
a real crazy.
Why did you say it like that?
I'm trying a sassy best friend thing.
No.
Bless the Hearts premieres September 29th on Fox.
Two plays that really could have put it away. Look at Dotson, 89, the tight end. He's blocking here on that quick slant, and they tag him for a pick. So that's pass interference offensively. And here, what they thought was a catch but wasn't. But a 68-yard punt, counting the penalty on Arizona State. Poor field position for them to start, but they do have the ball, and it's Kyle Williams, stopped at the 30, a gain of 5.
Nice little wham screen intention to go the opposite direction and come back where you got single coverage, and Bocce was there to make a play, but Herm Edwards knows that he's up against it. This is the way they don't want to have to win.
Well, you know, he talked to us about the cool hand Luke that Jaden Daniels is, this youngster from San Bernardino, true freshman. He's only 18, and he tells his coach, hey, coach, it's all right. I got this. Well, let's see. Beautiful shovel. And he is ahead for a first down. That's Eno Benjamin. Little gang tackling late from that ever-present Michigan State defense. Joe Bocce leading the way, but it is a first down.
What a heads-up play by Daniels to flip that ball forward again, and then to know where the line to gain is from Benjamin. Great tandem working with the throw game, even though it's improvised.
1st and 10. 4 wides. Benjamin, the lone setback.
I'm surprised this is not a pressure look. Just a 4-man rush. Going to try to win with 4. He got him wide open.
Lofting it deep. That's Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk's got it. Wow. Inside the 30. Biggest play of the day for Arizona State. How about this move, Spencer?
Josh Butler, the field corner. You can see it. It's a double move. He stops and shows him on the post corner. They got skinny once again and got vertical. Outstanding job. Your premier player wasn't able to get behind this defense for much of the day. But that play when it mattered most, he got open. Excellent route.
All Herm Edwards wanted was for them to hang in and then make a play. That was a 40-yard gain. Their previous 43 plays gave him 46 yards. And Ayuk again gets it inside the 25 to the 23-yard line.
Naquan Jones was lucky, man. He got in there and then stopped him from going further. He was headed to across the field, and if he had gotten past Naquan Jones, I think he may have made it.
Full complement of timeout, Spencer. The entire playbook is available to them.
But no hurry. They've got to still manage the series. I'd like to see them go play action and move to the field when they've got some numbers to work with. Go away from the pressure.
Daniel stepping up.
Good job.
Drop right there. Ayuk's got to make that grab.
No question. You know, dependability or consistency is the greatest ability. Ayuk made the wonderful play on the double move a minute ago. Now this should be a routine play for him. They isolated him on the shallow cross route coming across the field. He's got to make that play.
He was feeling Josh Butler, who is an incredible corner and will be playing on Sundays. 3rd down 7. 1:28 left.
Biggest play in his short, young, illustrious career so far. You're going to think about this one.
Yep.
Timeout. Arizona State, their first of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Sun Devils coming into the Big Ten and trying to get a big steal.
I found a way to relieve my constipation that's both gentle and fast.
7 to 3 our score. 4 down territory at this stage. Still opportunities available for this young man. What do you anticipate, partner?
Well, he said earlier in the week, this is just a road game for us. I understand it's the big stadium and all that, but I'm just here to make plays. I think that they're going to take advantage of the dual tandem route with 3 up top and maybe getting one of the backs out or get out of this play, Tim, if they don't pass it to the right. There you go. Now you got the numbers.
Daniels over the middle, incomplete. Ryan Newsom, the intended receiver. Boy, he had some guys to the field, Spencer, that were available to them. He turned them down.
Well, the numbers went the opposite direction, but he eventually came back again. The underneath route here was going to come open and clear, but that's a tight window to get the ball in. The only way you make that play is you put it on the back shoulder, but Bocce is there, gets his hand on it, and deflects it away. But for Bocce's hand, perhaps he makes that play. That was a tight window, but Bocce is in the middle.
Another All-America play, and another timeout.
Arizona State, their second of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
This is great football here, Timmy. Freshman quarterback.
Yeah, this is it's exactly what we talked about at the Open. You've got a once-in-a-generation. Danny Gonzalez is the guy that told us. He said to us, look, you're talking about a guy that comes around maybe once every 10 years. A guy that could only be here once out of every 10 years. You got to take advantage of it. But the one thing that they absolutely cannot afford is to allow him to be too pressured by those defensive ends. And for the most part today, they've kept him clean.
Yeah, but the thing is impressive to me, everything you said is absolutely right. But when you earn those accolades against an FCS team and then, of course, a MAC team, that's one thing. But today, he's worked within the framework of what they're doing offensively against the elite defense, I believe, in America. This kid is something special. When he gets the weapons on the outside like he had a year ago, if he were here, he would be a dangerous quarterback.
You know, last week there were no penalties for Michigan State. They really cleaned that up from week 1. They've had a lot of penalties today that have helped keep Arizona State in this. This is a huge play right here. You need to play cleanly and effectively on both sides.
Yeah, and I would move him, though, out of the pocket. I would move him and use his athleticism to affect the coverage. I wouldn't sit back there. This defense is too tricky, too disciplined. They're not going to give you anything.
Keep an eye on Darby. Keep an eye on Ayuk. Benjamin is the setback. 4th down. Flags down. Pre-snap.
False start.
Yep.
Offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
You hate to see that if you're a coaching staff after a timeout. But there was premature movement. Definitely a good call here. That movement right there was all that was necessary.
Yeah.
Young center.
Doesn't take much.
Cabral moved over from tackle to center. Gets tagged with that. Herm didn't like it. Ball is back at the 28. In some ways, it may give the freshman more room to work with.
Yeah, but in a typical situation, yes. But if there's any pressure, and it looks like a pressure package now.
Timeout. Michigan State, their second of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So the timeouts are now at 1 apiece.
This
may take a while to play these last.
This is the ultimate chess match right here.
Seconds, yep.
A lot of guys with the patina of the NFL on their history and their games. Match chess, watching to see what you do in terms of lining up, and then we're going to counter that. Herm Edwards, he won one on the road. It was impressive. Won one at home in the desert and trying to get one on the road.
Mark D'Antonio's team, if you were to ask either coach, I think they would prefer leaning on their defense to get a win. You know, at this stage, a strong advantage if you're playing defense in this kind of game.
You know, a lot of times, though, what informs a coach's choice down here is the success or lack thereof that you've had to this point. Sometimes you got to throw caution to the wind and do something you've not done. If you've seen the athletic ability of your quarterback and you know what it's like, go outside of what you've seen defined as the norm for this game. I still have not seen them effectively move him out of the pocket.
Yeah, well, when you have that much talent at the quarterback position,
well,
a season and a life can change in one play.
Now, see, they got an inverted, what they call teacup down here. That could be a possibility. Look at that. Yeah.
Michigan State, their third and final timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Okay, mate.
Chess, baby. Queens the Queens level.
Welcome to the Hall of Allergies. Today we take a
7-3 our score. See what happens when you get Power 5 against Power 5 in an intersectional game early in the season.
Partner, I lost count. Is that 3 or is that 4 timeouts in a row?
Well, there's one left to give. 4th and 13. This is the game right here. And a moment that could be a difference maker for both clubs.
Well, Rob Lycan did change the play. He's now in a typical Teep Cup instead of inverted. They're still going to try to do something back to the field.
Daniels. He's going to run.
He got it, too.
He's got room.
Wow.
He's got a first down.
Cleared him out.
All those backs, all those linebackers with their backs to him, and he saw nothing but green grass.
16 yards on this one. Watch him clear him out. 2 deep safeties, look, so it's almost like a cover 2. Underneath, there's no pressure immediately, and because Bocce dropped back in deep middle, he takes off and runs and read it. Design call, in my opinion. Outstanding play selection, instinctive move by an elite quarterback in terms of his athletic skill. He's young, but he's getting better right before your eyes.
Tough kid from the tough part of San Bernardino. Well, you see Benjamin up there.
Yeah, great job of communicating. Love how the way they're handling this quarterback.
Daniels. Time winding down. He's got
it wide open, Tim.
A lot of room. He can take it as far as he wants, and he ushers himself out inside the 10 at the 8. That's 5 yards.
Now, see, this is what I mean by moving the pocket. Moving him outside the pocket so he can allow his athleticism. Flood those zones back to the opposite side of the field and release him. One thing about this Michigan State defense, they're going to honor what you do. So if you flood receivers one way, the numbers will play in your favor. You'll get an athletic quarterback open.
We told you at the outset, the best intersectional matchup of the day. Big Ten, Pac-12. A young team offensively against a brilliant veteran team defensively. 2nd down.
Nice.
Into the end zone. Is it? That's Darby. Incomplete.
Great thought to isolate him. Darby alone. The ball got in there. Perhaps he should have had it, man. It was an excellent throw.
Really well defended, though.
It was. There were 2 defenders in between them, but, man, he got that ball in there.
He did. Could have been caught.
I'm going to tell you, it should have been caught.
Yep.
Darby should have caught it.
Xavier Henderson was in there to help disrupt things, but that was right between the 8 and the 4. 2 more tries. Michigan State trying to give their head coach an historic win to making the winningest coach in the history of the institution.
They got it. You got to sort this one out.
Marker down. Pre-snap movement again.
Before the
or
ball
was it timeout?
Timeout. Arizona State, their 3rd and final timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
I think we've had 5 timeouts in 32 game seconds.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the first word of any new discussion.
7-3 the score. 3rd down. First down line to make would be the 3. However, now the clock can become an issue because timeouts have been exhausted by the offense in this particular series.
Now, Timmy, in that last play, Josiah Scott, number 22, the boundary corner, made an outstanding play. It's my impression that they're going to go back to that side.
Well,
I think they like the matchup, but they've got to somehow take your single receiver and get him over to occupy the safety.
That's Darby in motion.
There you go. They're doing it. They're clearing it out.
He's wide open. He has the first down. No touchdown, but a first down. Just shy of the 1-yard line. And again, I remind you, as Tyreek Thompson shoved him out, the clock is a factor. No timeouts remaining. Arizona State exhausted them in this particular drive.
Tim, they're following the script. I told you, move him away so that he can use his skill set. Flood the field opposite. They brought the motion from the far side of the field to clear out the defense, so to allow Daniels to run it.
From the 1.5.
Run weak.
High snap. Benjamin reaching for it. Did he get in? Did he get past? I believe the officials are going to say no, that he's short, but they do stop the clock with 50 seconds left.
Wow.
He was reaching. It's touchdown. Touchdown, Arizona State.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
It is a touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
That is a touchdown. The
Moving on the field is a fumble recovered by the offense in the end zone for a touchdown.
Wow.
Well, you know,
well, Xavier Henderson was on top of him, and again, I thought that he prevented him that knee from going to the
play
ground.
is now under replay review.
Well, I don't know how you call that a fumble. He reached over. The ball is on the ground. It's on the line to make. It crosses the plane. It should be a touchdown. If they rule it a fumble recovery, it's by Kyle Williams, number 10, in the end zone for a touchdown. Either way, regardless of how they rule it a touchdown, it's a touchdown.
And the anatomy of it is in the most improbable way against one of the toughest penetrating fronts in college football.
Dean Blandino is back in our studios. How do you see it, Dino?
Yeah, I know they announced fumble recovered by Arizona State in the end zone, but to me it's a touchdown.
Yes.
There's no fumble. He breaks the plane with the ball in his possession. So either way, it's a touchdown, and Arizona is going to take the lead here.
Arizona State, with this big play, puts itself on top. 50 seconds left, and here's the tough part for Michigan State. Timeouts are gone.
Yeah.
All gone. And they were used defensively with this particular sequence against Arizona State in the chess match that was going on between the Spartan defense and the Arizona State offense.
I agree, Tim. I hope Dino's still with us, man, because I want some explanation on, Dino, exactly what do they see here? Are they declaring that the ball is lost? Because they called it a fumble. Did he have control of it when he stuck it across the line?
I think on the field, when the officials come in, you'll see the line of scrimmage officials come in, and they're taught to find the football. When they got in there, they saw the ball loose.
Here's the call.
Replay, it's a big play, so they're just going to confirm
over the goal line. Touchdown.
Just as you explained it, Dean, and just as we called it. Frankly, all the ball needs to do is cross the plane.
It pierced the plane. That was it.
That's all it had to
And I'm
happen.
just trying to understand what their determination was.
Well,
it was
I think there was confusion over between the officials.
Because he couldn't see it. He assumed the ball was out.
And Kyle Williams did recover it. So either way, it would have been a score. Matter of semantics, really. Zendejas with the extra point. And boy, you talk about, you could hear a pin drop. Michigan State in a position enabling a freshman to come of age, make some plays, and boy did he. This is Jaden Daniels' moment. This young man sacked 6 times coming in, about to feel the wrath of arguably the best defense in the country, certainly the best front 7 he'd face all season long. And look at the plays he made with his legs and his arm. The kicking game really hurt them today. The 2 misses by Coughlin, missed opportunities, and penalties too, Spencer. But it's not over yet. Lewerke still has some time, albeit without timeouts.
Well, but while we can't say it, I mean, the high drama for this home-and-home series has been absolutely impressive. ASU rallied behind Brandon Weese's 28-yarder last year to win it. Will Michigan State return the favor this time, just to stay in it and perhaps extend it to an extra session?
Yeah, remember, it only takes a field goal to send us to overtime. But the problem is Coughlin is 0 for 2.
Well, we talked about that earlier. The inner game cannot not be played. And you've missed 2 opportunities. What does that do? What are you thinking about? Back in the hood, they say pressure makes a pipe bust, man. This is about as good as it gets.
I'm just going back to what Herm Edwards told us yesterday. When he talked to Jaden Daniels, he says, how you feel, young man? You okay? He says, Coach, I'm good. I'm good. I'm all good.
Give Rob Likens some credit as well for crafting the drive that had his quarterback moving away from the traffic.
Fair catch is called for.
The receiver gave a fair catch signal. It'll be first down at the 25-yard line.
Antoine Simmons with the fair catch. And so Lewerke, no timeouts left. And again, that's because the defense used them in trying to deal with what Arizona State was trying to accomplish. And look who's back in the game. How about that? DJ Davidson returns to the field. And you got to think he's playing with a great deal of pain right now.
Well, he is, but I'm telling you, he's not feeling much of anything right now. The pain may be there, but he ain't feeling it. This is too big of a game, too important. Let's see how he does from that off-nose tackle position. He's playing under technique now.
It's going to take about 45 yards, and they're going to need to use the sidelines.
Look at him, got to play.
Yeah, Lewerke with his legs, first down. Clock will stop on the first down. Kobe Williams, the tackle.
Big shot by Kobe Williams.
And that means the clock stops. Now it's, well, did they start it again too soon? Oh, they did. Michigan State lost a little time there. That pass is incomplete. Well, I thought they mishandled the clock there, Spencer. The ball had not been set and put into play, and 2 or 3 seconds came off the clock before that last snap.
I think you're absolutely right. In the present issue right now for Michigan State, they're playing a little bit left-handed. They're forcing the ball downfield, which is, of course, they have to do it. But look at the 5 defenders that are back on the 50-yard line, in between the 50 and the 45. Now they're coming down to respect them, but almost looks like a 4-cross look. Nothing's going to get behind this.
Pass is behind the tight end, Dotson. You know, I keep thinking it's got to be Darryl Stewart, right, or Cody White, one of those two. Have got to make a play on the edge if Michigan State's going to have a chance.
Well, clearly they've got the horses, despite the issues of shuffling around players up front to protect long enough to get those receivers down the field. But once again, remember, the hallmark of this defense is they're athletic. Those 3 down linemen, despite the fact that Davidson's hurt with that hand, they are active.
So they're rushing 3, 8 others are in the secondary. Lewerke, plenty of room. He lets it fly for White, incomplete.
Wow.
Marker
unnecessary,
down.
unnecessary, and he got it. That was a bad mistake.
Evan Fields is going to be guilty, it appears. Number 4.
Pass interference. Defense number 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, no reason for it.
We have no reason for it. But Evan Fields is known for his physicalness, but that's where your head has got to be in the game. The ball was errant. It was over his head. Let it go out. Live again.
Spencer, they only need really another 20 yards and they'll have a shot. Coughlin's not particularly long, but he's very effective until today. He's missed 2 from really chip shot range, really. Lewerke, he's got Stewart. There he is. First down in field goal range at the 25. Feels the tackle. That's 25 yards. They're going to spike it.
So now they've got time for actually 2 plays, Tim, if they want it.
They do. They do. But you got to be careful because you're out of timeouts. You know, you better be working the sideline here.
No question. You roll Lewerke out, and if you don't have the out cut where the clock is going to stop with an incompletion, you throw the ball away and then kick it. What an exciting game. Brad Salem is calling a great final quarter here. And
they're going to go for it now. And I think the reason for this is pretty clear.
Well, that's kind of who they are, Tim.
Yeah.
I think that's their culture.
You get a bad snap. 42 yards. Clock winding down. Snap spot. Kick is good. Late flag.
That celebration will get him closer.
Kick will count. It'll be an unsportsmanlike, I assume. Will be utilized on the kick. If it's against Michigan State, look out. Everything changes then. Preliminary indication is that it may be.
Yeah, but it was after the kick. I believe it was the celebration, the unsportsmanlike, as you said.
Yep.
They'll apply that on the kickoff.
And only 6 seconds remaining.
Yep.
Well, very few of the nearly 75,000 have left Spartan Stadium today.
Well, they should sit tight because this is what college football is all about right here.
How about Darryl Stewart again? Every time they've needed a big play,
he's come up with it,
it's been Darryl.
There's no foul.
Wow.
The kick is good. There's no foul for too many players on the field. The kick is good.
Wow, that was the call. So they were looking for 12 men. I thought it was a post-kick unsportsmanlike, but if 12 men were on the field, then Then we're talking about nullifying the kick.
Right.
Isn't it typical, though? We had a great
Previous
debate.
play is now under replay review.
All right, now
determining the number of players that were on the Michigan State
They're going to
team.
sort this thing out, man. They're going to leave it to chance. They're going to find out if there were 12 on the field or not.
Time for Jake Jolivet and Mitch Riggin to go to work in the truck. Time for an all-22 shot,
That's
fellas.
right. All 22, fellas. Put that math together for Miss
boy.
McFarland.
Time for you to count, Spencer.
All right.
That's why we
Put 'em
pay
out
you the
there.
big bucks.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 by my count.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
We're going to have to bring it back
Let's do
and
it
do
this
it
way.
again.
Can we do it this? Can we do it this again? Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's
12.
11.
That's 12. Counting the kicker, it's 12.
Yep, 12. 2, 3, 4, 6.
Well, the fans are not going to like this, but it's about to happen. You remember back in the day, it was, I believe, Derek Dooley coaching at Tennessee and LSU. They had the 13 men on the field.
Yep.
LSU got another play and then won it.
After review,
It's 12.
Michigan State had 12 players on the field when the ball was snapped. That's a foul for illegal substitution. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
Got to do it again. If you recall, there was
mistakes, man.
In that game, there was a snap that went way behind. Then they had 13 guys on the field, and they got to do it again. And I believe Jacob Hester took it in and snatched a signature victory away from Tennessee years ago. Well, now you got to do it one more time. Coughlin will set it up at the...
We're going to get
Run when you guys blow it or not?
If you're Matt Coughlin, your heart is pumping 100 miles an hour right about
42.
now, man.
There is no runoff. The clock stays where it is. I think there was some concern on the field whether there should have been runoff time, and there's not. So now it's going to be from 47 rather than 42. He hooked it. Arizona State wins it.
Clock right.
Improbable, incredible. What's both right and what can be wrong in the emotional game that is college football. Herm Edwards coming over to shake the hand of Mark D'Antonio, coming off one of the most emotional losses that he's probably had in his 13 years.